Shalom again.
Shalom, shalom, Nazayar, Mafayah, separated, consecrated ones to the mouth of Yah.
You already know.
I think that Stones edition will always be my favorite book, bro. To the mouth of Yah.
Shalom again.
Shalom, shalom, Nazayar, Mafayah, separated, consecrated ones to the mouth of Yah.
You already know.
I think that Stones edition will always be my favorite book, bro.
Shalom again.
Shalom, bro. Shalom.
Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Shalom, room.
Shalom.
Anybody that want to come up and read a chapter or something, y'all more than welcome. Shalom, Sister Keys.
Shalom, family.
How you
Shalom.
feeling?
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. Menelec, you can kick it off.
All right.
Um,
Chapter 13.
shit, whatever you feel like reading, bro.
Here it is. Chapter 13, Devarim. Uh, the entire word that I command you, that you shall observe to do, you shall not add to it, and you shall not subtract from it. Let me go into that just for a second. Like, yeah, we're not supposed to add to it, but we also can't diminish from like the deep sense of it. If there should stand up in your midst a prophet or a dreamer of a dream, and he will produce to you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes about of which he spoke to you, saying, let us follow Allahhims of others that you did not know, and we shall worship them. Do not hearken to the words of that prophet or to the dreamer of that dream. For Adonai, your Allahayim, is testing you to know whether you love Allahayim, your Allahayak, with all your heart and with all your soul, your nafashah. Allah Adonai, Yahweh, your Allah Hayyak, you shall follow him, and him shall you fear. His commandments shall you observe, and to his voice shall you hearken. Him shall you serve, and him shall you cleave. And that prophet, that dreamer of a dream, shall be put to death, for he had spoken perversion against Adonai, your Allah Hayyak, who takes you out of the land of Mitzrayim, and who redeems you out of the house of slavery, to make you stray from the path which Adonai your Allah Hayyak has commanded you to go, and you shall destroy the evil from your midst. And it goes into one who entices others to go astray. If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is like your own nafesh or soul, will entice you secretly, saying, let us go and worship the Allahims of others that you did not know, you or your forefathers, from the Allahims of the nations that are all around you, those near to you or those far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the Ha'arats. You shall not accede to him and not hearken to him. Your eye shall not take pity on him. You shall not be compassionate or conceal him. Rather, you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be the first against him to kill him. The hand of the entire people afterwards. You shall pelt him with stones, and he shall die. For he sought to make you stray from being near to Yahweh, your Adonai, your Allah Hayyak, who takes you out of Mitzrayim from the house of slavery. All of Yasharal shall hear and fear, and they shall not again do such evil things in your midst. If one of your cities that Adonai, your Allah Hayyak, gives you, in which you dwell, you hear saying, lawless or Torahless men have emerged in your midst, And they have caused the dwellers of the city to go astray, saying, let us go and worship the Allahims of others that you have not known. You shall seek out and investigate and inquire well. And behold, it is true. The word is correct. This abomination was committed in your midst. You shall surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, lay it waste and everything that is in it, and its animals with the edge of the sword. You shall gather together all the booty to the midst of its open square, and you shall burn it in fire completely, the city and all of its prophets, to Adonai your Allah Hayak, and it shall be an eternal heap. It shall not be rebuilt. No part of the banned property may you adhere to your hand, so that Yahweh will turn back from his burning wrath, and he will give you mercy and be merciful to you and multiply you as he swore to your forefathers. When you hearken to the voice of Yahweh, your Allah Hayak, to observe all of his commandments that I command you today, to do what is in right in the eyes of Adonai your Allah Hayak. No, yeah, okay. You are Banai, or children to Yahweh your Allah. You shall not cut yourselves, and you shall not make a bald spot between your eyes for a dead person. For you are a holy, set apart people to Adonai your Allah Hayam, and Yahweh has chosen you for himself to be a treasured people from all the peoples on the face of the earth. You shall not eat any abomination. These are the animals that you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the hart, the deer, the yakamar, the akah, the dashan, the ta'ah, the zamar, and every animal that has a split hoof, which is completely separated into two hoofs, that brings up its cud among animals. It you may eat, but you shall not eat from among those that bring up their cud, or have a completely separated hoof: the camel, the hare, and the hyrax, for they bring up their cud, but their hoof is still not split. They are unclean to you. And the pig, for it has a split hoof, but not the cud. It is unclean to you. From their flesh you shall not eat, and you shall not touch their carcasses. This you may eat of everything that is in the water. Anything that has fins and scales you may eat, and anything that does not have fins or scales you shall not eat. It is unclean to you. Every clean bird you may eat. This is what you shall not eat from among them: the nashar, the faras, the azanaya, the ra'ah, the ayah, the daya, according to its kind, and every orel, according to its kind: the bas hayana, the takamash, the shakaf, the naats, according to its kind: the kas, the yanashaf, the ta'amas, the ka'ash, the rakama, and the shalak, the chasada, and the anafa, according to its kind: the dakafash and the atalaf, every flying swarming creature that is unclean to you. They shall not be eaten. Every clean bird you may eat. You shall not eat any carcass. To the stranger who is in your cities you shall give it, that he may eat it, or sell it to a Gentile. For you are a holy, set apart people to Adonai Yahweh your Allah Hayak. You shall not cook a kid in its mother's milk. You shall tithe the entire crop of your planting, the produce of your field, year by year. You shall not eat before Adonai Yahweh your Allah Hayak in the place that he will choose to rest his name there: the tithe of your grain, your wine, your oil, and the firstborn of your cattle, your flocks, so that you will learn to fear Yahweh Adonai, your Allah Hayak, all the days, if the road will be too long for you, so that you cannot carry it. Because the place that Adonai, Yahweh, your Allah Hayak, will choose to place his name there is far from you. For Yahweh, your Adonai, your Allah Hayak, you will have blessed you. Then you may exchange it for money, wrap up the money in your hand, to the place that Yahweh, your Allah Hayak, chooses. You may spend the money for whatever your nafashah, your soul desires: for cattle, for flocks, for wine, or the alcoholic beverage, or anything that your nafashah wishes. You shall eat it there before Yahweh, your Adonai, your Allah Hayak, and you shall rejoice, and you and your household. You shall not forsake the Levite who is in your cities, for he has no portion of inheritance with you. At the end of the 3 years, you shall take out every tithe from your crop in that year and set it down within your cities. Then the Levite can come, for he has no portion or inheritance with you. And the proselyte, the orphan, and the widow who are in your cities, so they may eat and be satisfied, in order that Yahweh your Allah Hayat will bless you in all your handiwork that you may undertake. At the end of 7 years, you shall institute a remission This is the matter of the remission. Every creditor shall remit his authority over what he has lent his fellow. He shall not press his fellow or his brother for what he has proclaimed a remission to Adonai. You shall press the Gentile, but over what you have with your brother you shall remit your authority. However, may there be no destitute among you. Rather, Yahweh will surely bless you in the land. Yahweh your Allah Hayat will give to you as an inheritance. To possess it only if you will hearken to the voice of Adonai your Allahayim, to observe, to perform this entire commandment that I command you today. For Yahweh your Allahayak has blessed you and has told you, you will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow, and you will dominate many nations, but they will not dominate you. If there shall be a destitute person among you, any of your brethren, in any of your cities in the land that Yahweh your Allahayak is giving you, you shall not harden your heart or close your hand against your destitute brother. Rather, you shall open your hand to him. You shall lend him his requirement, whatever is lacking him. Be west, lest there be a Torah-less person in your heart, saying, the seventh year approaches, the remission year, and you will look malevolently upon your destitute brother and you refuse to give him. Then he may appeal against you to Yahweh, and it will be a sin upon you. You shall surely give him, and you shall not let your heart feel bad when you give him. For in return for this matter, Yahweh your Allahayat will bless you in all your deeds and in every undertaking, for destitute people will not cease to exist within the land. Therefore I command you, saying, you shall surely open your hand to your brother, to your poor, and to the destitute in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man or Hebrew woman, will be sold to you, he shall serve you for 6 years. The 7th year you will send him away from you free. But when you send him away from you free, you shall not send him away empty-handed. Adam, get him generously from your flocks, from the threshing floor, from your wine cellar, as Yahweh your Allah has commanded and has blessed you. You shall give him. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and Yahweh your Allah has redeemed you. Therefore I command you regarding this matter this day. In the event he will say to you, I will not leave you, for he loves you and your household, for it is good for him with you, then you shall take the awl and put it through his ear at the door, the fetal, and he shall be to you as an eternal slave. Even to you, your maidservant, shall you do the same. It shall not be difficult in your eyes when you send him away free from you, for twice the wage of a hired hand. 6 years has he served you. And Yahweh your Allah Hayat will bless you in all that you do. And I keep saying Allah Hayat because that means your God. So yes, the word Allah Hayam or Elohim, but when it's your God, it's Allah Hayat. Every firstborn male that is born in your cattle and in your flock, you shall sanctify to Yahweh your Allah Hayat. You shall not work with the firstborn of your ox, nor shall you shear the firstborn of your flock. Before Yahweh your Allah Hayat shall you eat it, year by year, in the place that Yahweh will choose, you and your household. If it shall have a blemish, lameness, or blindness, or any serious blemish, you shall not slaughter it to Yahweh your Allah Hayat. In your city shall you eat it. The contaminated one and the pure one alike, like the deer and the hart. However, you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it onto the ground like water. You shall observe the month of springtime and perform the Peshach offering for Yahweh your Allah Hayat. For in the month of springtime, Yahweh your Allah Hayat took you out of Mitzrayim at night. You shall slaughter the Peshach offering to Yahweh your Allah Hayat from the flock, and also offer cattle in the place where Yahweh will choose to rest his name. You shall not eat leavened bread with it. For 7 days you shall eat matzos or unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction. For you departed from the land of Mitzrayim in haste, so that you will remember the day of your departure from the land of Mitzrayim all the days of your life. No leaven of yours shall be seen throughout your boundaries for 7 days, nor shall any of the flesh you slaughter on the afternoon before the first day shall remain overnight until morning. You may not slaughter the Peshach offering in one of your cities that Yahweh your Allah Hayat gives you, except at the place that Yahweh your Allah Hayat will choose to rest his name. There you shall slaughter the Peshach offering in the afternoon when the sun descends. the appointed time of your departure from Mitzrayim. You shall roast it and eat it in the place that Yahweh your Allah Hayak will choose. So like, yo, like even like this has to be done at the same time we left from Egypt. Like all these things mean something. You shall roast it and eat it in the place that Yahweh your Allah Hayak will choose. And in the morning you may turn back and go back to your tents for a 6-day period. You shall eat unleavened bread. And on the 7th day shall be an assembly to Yahweh your Allah Hayak. You shall not perform labor. And this is Shabbat You shall count 7 weeks for yourselves. From when the first sickle is put to the standing crop, you shall begin counting 7 weeks. You shall observe the festival of Shavuos for Yahweh your Allah Hayak. The voluntary offerings that you give should be commensurate with how much Adonai your Allah Hayak will have blessed you. You shall rejoice before Yahweh your Allah Hayak, you, your son, your daughter, your slave, your maidservant, the Levite who is in your cities, the proselyte, the orphan, and the widow who are among you, in the place that Yahweh your Allah Hayak will choose to rest his name. You shall remember that you were a slave in Mitzrayim, and you shall observe to perform these decrees. And this is Sukkot. You shall make the festival of Sukkot for a 7-day period when you gather in from your threshing floor and from your wine cellar. You shall rejoice on your festival, you, your son, your bond, your daughter, your bat, your slave, your maidservant, the Levite, the proselyte, the orphan, the widow, who are in your cities. A 7-day period you shall celebrate to Yahweh your Allah Hayak, in the place that Yahweh will choose. For Yahweh your Allah Hayak will have blessed you in all of your crop and in all of your handiwork, and you will be completely joyous. 3 times a year, all your males should appear before Yahweh, your Allah Hayak, in the place he will choose, on the festivals of Matzahs, the festival of Shabbaas, the festival of Sukkot. He shall appear before Yahweh empty-handed, everyone according to what he can give, according to the blessing Yahweh Allah Hayak has given to you. You want me to keep going?
That's all. Is that all 16?
Wait, yeah, my bad. It keeps it, my bad. Says, you see it where it says Parashah
Yeah,
Shaka Khan?
yeah.
I thought I
That be
ended with
throwing me
that.
off
Yeah,
sometimes.
Khan. Khan. Judges and officers shall you appoint in all your cities, which Yahweh your Allah Hayak gives you for your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not perverse judgment. You shall not respect someone's presence, and you shall not accept a bribe. For a bribe will blind the eyes of the wise and make just words crooked. Righteousness shall you pursue, so that you will live and possess the land that Yahweh your Allah Hayak gives you. You shall not plant for yourselves an idolatrous tree, any tree near the altar of Yahweh your Allah Hayak that you shall make for yourself, and you shall not erect for yourselves a pillar which Yahweh your Allah Hayim hates, or Allah Hayak hates. Then it goes into 17.
Keisha, did you want to read? I know you haven't read.
I can. Hold on, let me get my glasses. Well, we're starting on 17.
Yeah, so,
Deuteronomy, right? Okay. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto Yahweh thy power any bullock or sheep wherein is blemish or any evil favorness, for this is an abomination unto Yahweh thy power. If there if there be found among you with any of thy gates which thy which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, man or woman, that hath worked wickedness in the sight of Yahweh thy power, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods and worshipped them, either the sun or the moon, or any of the hosts of the heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel. Then shalt thou bring forth that man or woman which have committed the wicked thing unto thy gates, and even the man or that.
You still there? I can't hear you if you're reading.
Oh damn, y'all can't hear me.
Yeah, yeah, you good.
Okay. At the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death, but at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you. If there arise a matter too hard for three in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and get thee up into a place which Yahweh thy power shall choose. And thou shalt come into the priests of the Levites, and into the judges, and shall be in those days, and inquire, and there shall shew thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to the sentence which they which day of that place which Yahweh shall choose shall shew thee. And thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shew thee to the right hand nor to the left. And the man that will do the prepunctuously and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth in the between wait and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth to minister there before Yahweh the power, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt be put away the evil from Israel. And all the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously when thou art come unto the land which Yahweh thy God thy power giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses, for as much as Yahweh has said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he be greatly multiplied to himself silver and gold. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in the book of which of the book of that which is before the priests of the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh the power, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them. This that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he and I don't know why I'm getting so tongue tied. That his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. 18. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. Yahweh is the Lord of their inheritance, as he shall wait the Lord of their inheritance, as he hath said unto them. And this shall be the priest due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be an ox or a sheep, and they shall give him the priest the shoulder and the two cheeks and the maw, the first fruit also of the corn of thy wine, of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. For Yahweh the power has chosen him out of all the tribes to stand to minister in the name of Yahweh, him and his sons forever. And if the Levite come from any of thy gates out of all Israel where he sojourned, and come with all the desire of his mind unto the place which Yahweh shall choose, then he shall minister. And where is that light? The reading light. Oh, it's over here. Hold on, y'all.
You're doing good, sis. I'm glad you got your voice back. It feels so good to have our readings now. So you're doing good. And I'm glad that you can even speak. Praise Yahweh. Glory to the Most High Yahweh.
Oh, where is that? All right. Y'all remember where I stopped? Hold on. 10 minutes, did I leave off of 7? Levites can stand there before Yahweh. They shall. Uh, no, that's not where I stopped. What did I?
If you're
I'm
on
on
nine,
9.
mine worded different, but yeah, I think you're on a nine. Is
What
anybody
chapter
y'all
and verse?
I forgot.
chapter
Okay, I see
7?
where I see where I was. I see where I was. I see where I was.
Can you tell us the?
Okay.
Can you tell me the book and chapter, please? I just came back in. I'm sorry.
Deuteronomy 18. I think I'm picking up at 9, verse 9. Where thou art come into the land which Yahweh thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abomination of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or the enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a next romancer. For all that for all that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh. And because all these abominations that Yahweh thy power doeth drive them out from before thee, thou shalt be perfect with Yahweh thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of times, and unto the diviners. But as for thee, Yahweh thy power hath not suffered thee so to do. Wait, what? Yahweh thy power hath not suffered thee so to do. Yahweh thy power will rise up unto the prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken, according to all that thou desirest of Yahweh thy power in Horeb in the days of assembly, saying, Let me not hear again thy voice of Yahweh my power, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And Yahweh said unto me, They have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will rise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he will speak and he shall speak unto them, and and he shall speak unto them all that I have commanded him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even the prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know which word Yahweh has not spoken, when the prophet saith, when the prophet speaketh in the name of Yahweh, and the things following not, nor come to pass, this is the thing which Yahweh hath not spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously, and presumptuously thou shalt not be afraid of him. 19. Anybody want to pick up? Excuse me.
You want to take 19 stage? You good, Sage?
19, Deuteronomy 19. When Yahweh, your power, has
Kind of,
annihilated the
kind of hard
nation.
to hear you. It's a little
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
kind of staticky, like that black and white channel on them old TVs.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You know what? I had my earphones on. They probably about to go out. Can you hear
yeah,
me now?
you got to smack your phone real quick.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I never knew you could hear black and white, but we just discovered that you can.
When that is static in it, okay, here we go. Can hear me now, right?
Con,
Uh,
Okay. When Yahweh, your power, has annihilated the nations whose country Yahweh, your power, is given to you, and you have possessed them and are living in their towns and in their houses, dispossess them, I'm sorry, and living in their towns and in their houses, you must set aside 3 towns centrally placed in the country which Yahweh, your power, is giving you for your own. You will keep the approaches to them in good order, dividing the area of the country which Yahweh, your power, is giving you as your heritage into 3 parts, so that any killer can flee to these towns. Here is an example of how someone may save his life by fleeing to them. If anyone has struck his fellow accidentally, without any previous feud with him, for example, he goes with his fellow into the forest to cut wood. His arm swings the axe to fell a tree. The head slips off the handle and strikes his companion dead. That man may take refuge in one of these towns and save his life. It must not be allowed that the avenger of blood, in the heat of his anger,
should pursue the killer, and that the length of the road should help him to overtake and wound him fatally. For the man has not deserved to die, having had no previous feud with the victim. Hence, I am giving you this order. You must set aside 3 towns, and if Yahweh your power enlarges your territory, and he, as he swore to your ancestors that he would do, and give you the whole country, which he promised to give to your ancestors, provided that you keep and observe all the commandments which I am enjoining unto you today, loving Yahweh your power, and always following his ways, then to these 3 towns you will add 3 more. In this way, innocent blood will not be shed in the country which Yahweh your power is going to give you as your heritage. Otherwise, you would incur blood guilt. 11. But if it happens that a man has a feud with his fellow and lies in wait for him and attacks him and fatally wounds him, and he dies, and the man take refuge in one of these towns, the elders of his own town will send there must send there and have him taken and handed over to the avenger of blood to be put to death. 13. You must show him no pity. You must banish the shedding of innocent blood from Israel, and then you will prosper. You must not displace your neighbor's boundary mark, positioned by men of old in the heritage soon to be yours, in the country which Yahweh, your power, is about to give you. A single witness will not suffice to convict anyone of a crime or offense of any kind, whatever the misdemeanor. The evidence of 2 witnesses or 3 is required to sustain the charge. If someone gives false evidence against anyone, laying a charge of apostasy, both parties to this dispute before Yahweh must appear before the priests and judges then in the office. The judges will make a careful inquiry, and if it turns out that the witness is a liar and has made a false accusation against his brother, you must treat the witness as he would have treated his brother. You must banish this evil from among you. The rest, hearing of this, will be afraid and never again do such an evil thing among you. You must show no pity, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Deuteronomy 20.
Woohoo!
Woo! When you go to war, anybody got anything to say? I'm sorry. Anything stuck out to anybody? Then I'll go to
Yeah,
20.
yeah, the last verse. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, you know, foot for
Yeah,
foot.
yeah.
Yeah, if rapist rape, yeah, get rid of him. You know, the eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, or
No,
this.
no, turn the other cheek. No,
Yeah,
Devania, you forgot. It's turn
no.
the other cheek.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put on my toga. Yeah, let me go put on my toga and wait for somebody to multiply some fish and feed it to me. Sorry, my bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
that is. I love that one. I love that one too. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 20. When you go to war against your enemies and see horses and chariots and an army greater than your own, you must not be afraid of them. Yahweh, your power is with you, he who brought you out of Egypt. When you are about to join battle, the priest must come forward and address the people. He must say to them, "Listen, Israel, today you are about to join battle with your enemies. Do not be faint hearted. Let there be no fear, trembling, or alarm as you face them. Yahweh, your power is marching with you to fight your enemies for you and make you victorious." 5. The scribes will then address the people as follows. Has anyone built a new house and not yet dedicated it? Question. Let him go home in case he dies in battle and someone else performs the dedication. Has anyone planted a vineyard and not yet enjoyed its fruit? Let him go home in case he dies in battle and someone else enjoys his fruit. Has anyone contracted to marry a girl and not yet married her? Let him go home in case he dies in battle and someone else marries her. 8. Finally, the scribes will say to the people, is anyone frightened or faint hearted? Let him go home in case he make his brothers faint hearted too. 9. Then, when the scribes have finished speaking to the people, commanders will be appointed to them. When you advance on a town to attack it, first offer it peace terms. If it accepts these and opens its gate to you, all the people inside will owe you forced labor and work for you. But if it refuses peace and gives battle, you must besiege it. Yahweh, your power, having handed it over to you, you will put the whole male population to the sword. But the women, children, livestock, and whatever the town contains by way of spoil, you may take for yourselves as booty. You will feed on the spoils of the enemy whom Yahweh, your power, has handed over to you. That is how you would treat towns far away and not belonging to the nations near you. But as regards to the towns of those people whom Yahweh, your power, is giving you as your heritage, you must not spare the life of any living thing. Instead, you must lay them under the curse of destruction: Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and the Jebusites, as Yahweh, your power, has commanded you, so that they may not teach you all the detestable things which they do to honor their gods. In doing these, you would sin against Yahweh, your power. If, when attacking a town, you have to besiege it for a long time before you capture it, you must not destroy its trees by taking the axe to them. Eat their fruit, but do not cut them down. Is the tree in the fields human, that you should besiege it too? Any trees, however, which you know are not fruit trees, you may destroy and cut down and use to build siege works against the hostile town until it falls. Anybody, anything to say before I move on to Deuteronomy 21? If not, I'll continue to read it. Deuteronomy chapter 21. If in the country which Yahweh your power gives you as your possession, a victim of murder is found lying in the open country, and it is not known who has killed that person, your elders and scribes must measure the distance between the victim and the surrounding towns and establish which town is the nearest to the victim. The elders of that town must then take a heifer that has not yet been put to work or used as a draught animal under the yoke. The elders of that town must bring the heifer down to a permanently flowing river, to a spot that has been neither plowed nor sown, and there by the river they must break the heifer's neck. The priests, the sons of Levi, will then step forward, these being the men whom Yahweh your power has chosen to serve him and to bless in Yahweh's name, and it being their business to settle all cases of dispute or of violence. All the elders of the town nearest to the victim of murder must then wash their hands in the stream over the slaughtered heifer. They must pronounce these words: Our hands have not shed this blood, and our eyes have seen nothing. O Yahweh, forgive your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, and let no innocent blood be shed among your people Israel. May this bloodshed be forgiven them. You must banish all shedding of innocent blood from among you, if you mean to do what is right in the eyes of Yahweh. When you go to war against your enemies, and Yahweh your power delivers them into your power, and you take prisoners, and among the prisoners you see a beautiful woman, and you fall in love with her, and you take her to be your wife, and bring her home, she must shave her head, and cut her nails, and take off her prisoner's garbs. She must stay inside your house, and mourn her father and mother for a full month. You may then go to her and be a husband to her, and she will be your wife. Should she cease to please you, you will let her go where she wishes, not selling her for money. You must not make any profit out of her, since you have exploited her. If a man who has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and the loved one and the unloved both bear him children, and if the firstborn son is of the unloved wife, when the man comes to bequeath his goods to his sons, he may not treat the son of the wife whom he loves as the firstborn, at the expense of the son of the wife whom he does not love, the true firstborn. 17. As his firstborn, he must acknowledge the son of the wife whom he does not love, giving him a double share of his estate. The son being the first fruit of his vigor, the rights of the firstborn is his. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not listen to the voice either of his father or of his mother, and even when they punish him, still will not pay attention to them, his father and mother must take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his town at the gate of that place. To the elders of his town, they will say, "This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious and will not listen to us. He is a wastrel and a drunkard." 21. All his fellow citizens must then stone him to death. You will banish this evil from among you. All Israel, hearing of this, will be afraid. 22. If a man guilty of a capital offense is to be put to death, and you hang him from a tree, his body must not remain on the tree overnight. You must bury him the same day, since anyone hanged is a curse of Yah, and you must not bring pollution on the soil which Yahweh, your power, is giving you as your heritage.
Uh-oh.
Mm-mm. Anybody got anything to say about this verse? I do, but I can go
Well,
back
you
though.
have
But
one more
yeah,
verse to go, and then we can, yes.
okay, all right. So I'm gonna go
Read
to
that one again.
No, we can touch on that right now if y'all want
All
to.
right.
yeah. Go ahead, y'all. What y'all want to
Woohoo!
touch on, and I'll continue.
It for me, I'm see it says, and if a man, if an Adam have committed a sin worthy of death, like claiming you are the first and the last, things like that. If you are an Adam that does that, or a man that does that, right? Let's keep it, and he be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall remain all night upon the tree. Well, that's why we want to finish, because when you go back to, because here it's saying if, but the scripture, the laws tell you, cursed is a man who is hanged on a tree. So now it's telling us here what you do if a man is hanged on a tree. And we already know the laws say, yo, he was hanging on a tree because in Yah's eye, he allowed that because the guy is cursed. And then if you read verse 23, you would see that's exactly what they did with JC. They made sure they brought him down, what they said, brought him down before the sun down, before the day was done. Because, right, he's already cursed by being hung on a tree, but the laws also tell him they have to bring it, take his body down and put it away. So that's me, my comment. We can add on more later. What are you guys seeing? Or it's seeing, hearing, reading. Hello?
So, anybody else? What do y'all see in that? Anybody else? And then, like she said, we'll go to 24. Gonna go to 22. Yeah, I had the same thing you saying about curse the man hang on the tree. Yeah. Um, Deuteronomy 22. If you see your brother's ox or one of his sheep straying, you must not disregard it. You must not take it back to your brother. If he is not close at hand, or you do not know who he is, you must take it home with you and keep it by you until your brother comes to look for it. You will then return it to him. You must do the same with his donkey, the same with his cloak, the same with anything that your brother loses and that you find. You must not disregard it. If you see your brother's donkey or ox fall over on the road, you must not disregard it. You must help your brother get it on his feet again. 5. A woman must not dress like a man, nor a man like a woman. Anyone who does this is an abomination to Yahweh, your power. 6. If, when out walking, you come across a bird's nest in a tree or on the ground with chicks or eggs, and the mother bird sitting on the chicks or the eggs, you must not take the mother as well as the chicks. Let the mother go. The young you may take for yourself. Thus will you have prosperity and long life. When you build a new house, you must give your roof a parapet. Then your house will not incur blood vengeance. Should anyone fall off the top. 9. You must not sow any other crop in your vineyard, or the whole yield may become forfeit, both the crop you have sown and the yield of your vines. You must not plow with ox and donkey together. You must not wear clothing woven part of wool, part of linen. You must not make tassels for the four corners of the cloak in which you wrap yourself. If a man marries a woman, if a man marries a woman, has sexual intercourse with her, and then turning against her, taxes her with misconduct and publicly defames her by saying, I married this woman, and when I had sexual intercourse with her, I did not find evidence of her virginity. The girl's father and mother must take the evidence of her virginity and produce it before the elders of the town at the gate. To the elders, the girl's father will say, I gave this man my daughter for a wife, and he has turned against her. And now he taxes her with misconduct, saying, I have found no evidence of virginity in your daughter. Here is the evidence of my daughter's virginity. 18. You must then display the cloth to the elders of the town. 19. The elders of the town in question will have the man arrested and flogged, and fine him 100 silver shekels for publicly defaming a virgin of Israel, and give this money to the girl's father. She will remain his wife as long as he lives. He may not divorce her. But if the accusation that the girl cannot show evidence of virginity is substantiated, she must be taken out, and at the door of her father's house, her fellow citizens must stone her to death for having committed an infamy in Israel by bringing disgrace on her father's family. You must banish this evil from among you. 22. If a man is caught having sexual intercourse with another man's wife, both must be put to death. The man who has slept with her and the woman herself. You must banish this evil from Israel. 23. If a virgin is engaged to a man and another man encounters her in the town and has sexual intercourse with her, you will take them both to the gate of the town in question and stone them to death. The girl for not having called for help in the town, the man for having exploited his fellow citizen's wife. You must banish this evil from among you. 25. But if the man ran into the betrothed girl in the open country and slept with her, having taken her by force, her ravisher alone must die. You must do nothing to the girl. She has not committed a capital offense. The case is like that of a man who attacks and kills his fellow. Since he came across her in the open country, the betrothed girl may have called out without anyone's coming to her rescue. If a man meets a young girl virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her, sleeps with her, and is caught in the act, her ravisher must give the girl's father 50 silver shekels. Since he has exploited her, she must be his wife, and as long as he lives, he may not divorce her.
Do you want to take over Deuteronomy?
I could do one more. Or y'all going 23. Who didn't read? Menelec? Did,
Nah,
did somebody else want to read? If not, then I could have did 24. No matter.
you could take 23.
Okay. Yep. I'll do 23. A man, Deuteronomy 23. A man must not take his father's wife. He must not withdraw the skirt of his father's cloak from her. A man whose testicles have been crushed or whose male member has been cut off must not be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. No half breed may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. Not even his descendants to the 10th generation may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. No Ammonite or Moabite may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. Not even his descendants to the 10th generation may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh, and this is for all time. Since they did not come to meet you with food and drink when you were on your way out of Egypt, and even hired Balaam, son of Beor, to oppose you by cursing you from Pithor and Aram Naharaim. 6. But Yahweh, your power, refused to listen to Balaam, and Yahweh, your power, turned the curse on you into a blessing, because Yahweh, your power, loves you. 7. Never, as long as you live, must you seek their welfare or their prosperity. You must not regard the Edomite as detestable, for he is your brother. You must not regard the Egyptians as detestable, since you were once a foreigner in his country. The third generation of children born to these may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. When you are in camp at war with your enemies, you must avoid anything bad. If any one of you is unclean by reason of a nocturnal emission, he must leave and not come back into camp. But towards evening, wash himself and return to camp at sunset. You must have a latrine outside the camp and go out to this. You must have a throw in your equipment, and when you squat outside, you must scrape a hole with it, then turn around and cover up your excrement. For Yahweh, your God, goes about the inside of your camp to guard you and put your enemies at your mercy. Your camp must therefore be a holy place. Yahweh must not see anything indecent there, or he will desert you. 16. You must not allow a master to imprison a slave who has escaped from him and come to you. Let him make his home with you and yours, wherever he pleases, in whichever of your towns he prefers. You must not molest him. There must be no sacred prostitute among the women of Israel, and no sacred prostitute among the men of Israel. You must not bring the wages of a prostitute or the earnings of a dog to the house of Yahweh your power. Whatever vow you may have made, whatever vow you have made, both are detestable to Yahweh your power. You must not lend on the interest to your brother, whether the loan be of money, of food, or of anything else that may earn interest. You may demand interest on a loan to a foreigner, but you must not demand interest from your brother, so that Yahweh your power may bless you in all your labors in the country which you are about to enter and make your own. If you make a vow to Yahweh your power, you must not be slack about fulfilling it. Yahweh your power will certainly hold you answerable for it, and you will incur guilt. 23. If, however, you make no vow, you do not incur guilt. Whatever passes your lips you must keep to, and the vow that you have made to Yahweh, your generous power, you must fulfill. If you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat as many grapes as you please, but you must not put any in your basket. If you go into your neighbor's standing corn, you may pick ears by hand, but you must not put a sickle into your neighbor's corn. All praise.
Woohoo! I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to respond before, but I was pressing my phone trying to get, and I realized, oh snap! You switch from your phone to your pad. So I woohoo! That was a powerful scripture. That that's another scripture to we can really delve into. It says a lot of powerful stuff there. But yes, that's my comment. I yield.
You want to take over 24?
De- Sure. Deuteronomy 24. When a man had taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanliness in her, Then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send it out of his house. And when she is departed out of the house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send it her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is abomination before Yah. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance. When a man had taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war. I love this. He shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, no work, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife, which he had taken. Isn't that beautiful? No man shall take the nether or the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man's life to pledge. If a man be found if a man be found stealing any of his brethren, any of his brethren of the children of Yasharel, and make merchandise of him, and sell it him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put away evil from among you. Take heed in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priests, the Levites, shall teach you, as I commanded them, so shall ye observe to do. Remember what the Lord thy God, that Yahweh thy Elohim did unto Miriam, by the way, after that ye were come forth out of Egypt. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man to whom thou dost lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. If in any case thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment and bless thee, and it shall be righteousness unto thee before Yahweh thy Elohim. Oh, praises. Thou shalt not oppress any hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire. If he works for you, you gotta pay him that day. At his day thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cried against thee unto Yah, and it be sin unto thee. Unto thee. I love that. The father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and Yahweh thy Elohim redeemed thee once. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast gotten a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, or for the fatherless, and for the widow, that Yahweh thy Elohim may bless thee in all the works of thy hand. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, for the widow. And thou shalt remember, excuse me, that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. That's the end of 24. You want me to continue?
Yeah, you can take 25.
Okay. Deuteronomy 24, 1. If there be a controversy between men, and they come into judgment, that the judges may rule them, then they shall justify the righteous, and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to cough. Be, and the wicked man shall before his face, according to his fault, by a certain number, meaning the amount of lashes you're gonna get, right? 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed. Hmm. Lest if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee, meaning he gonna start hating you. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry outside, without, unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to be, excuse me, take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, my husband's brother refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto the man that will not build up his brother's house. Verse 10. And his name shall be called in Yasharel, the house of him that had no shoe loosed. When men strive together one with another, and the wife of the one draw near, for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and put it for her hand, and taken him by the secret, then thou shalt cut off her hand, thine eye shall not pity her. Thou shalt not have in thy bag diverse weights, a great and a small, uneven scales, right? Thou shalt not have in thine house diverse measures, a great and a small, but thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure shalt thou have, and thy days may be lengthened in the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. For all that do such things, and all that do unrighteously, are an abomination unto Yahweh thy Elohim. Remember what Amalek did unto thee, by the way, when ye came forth out of Egypt. Told you, y'all don't forget anything. How he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God, therefore, not Elohim. Therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy Elohim hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget. Whew, that was the ending of the last verse, verse 19 of Deuteronomy 25. Whew.
All right, I'll take 26. All right, this is about the first fruits. It will be when you enter the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take of the first of every fruit of the ground that you bring in from your land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you, and you shall put it in a basket and go to the place that Yahweh your Elohim will choose to make his name rest there. You shall come to whoever will be the Kohen in those days, and you shall say to him, I declare today to Yahweh your Elohim that I have come to the land that Yahweh swore to our forefathers to give us. The Kohen shall take the basket from your hand and lay it before the altar of Yahweh your Elohim. Then you shall call out and say, before Yahweh your Elohim, an Aramean tried to destroy my forefather. He descended to Egypt and sojourned there, few in number, and there he became a nation, great, strong, and numerous. The Egyptians mistreated us and afflicted us, and placed hard work upon us. Then we cried out to Yahweh, the Elohim of our forefathers, and Yahweh heard our voice and saw our affliction, our travail, and our oppression. Yahweh took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and with an outstretched arm, with great awesomeness, and with signs and with wonders. He brought us to this place, and he gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now behold, I have brought the first fruit of the ground that you have given me, O Yahweh, and you shall lay it before Yahweh, your Elohim, and you shall prostrate yourself before Yahweh, your Elohim. You shall rejoice with all the goodness that Yahweh your Elohim has given you in your household, you and the Levite and the proselyte who is in your midst. When you have finished tithing every tithe of your produce in the third year, the year of the tithe, you shall give it to the Levite, to the proselyte, to the orphan, and to the widow, and they shall eat in your cities and be satisfied. Then you shall say before Yahweh your Elohim, I have removed the holy things from the house, and I have also given it to the Levite, to the proselyte, to the orphan, and to the widow, according to whatever commandment you commanded me. I have not transgressed any of your commandments, and I have not forgotten. I have not eaten of it in my intense mourning. I did not consume it in a state of contamination, and I did not give of it for the needs of the dead. I have hearkened to the voice of Yahweh my Elohim. I have acted according to everything you have commanded me. Gaze down from your holy abode, from the heavens, and bless your people Yasharal, and from the ground that you gave us. And you swore to our forefathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. This day Yahweh your Elohim commands you to perform these decrees and the statutes, and you shall observe and perform them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have distinguished Yahweh today to be an Elohim for you, and to walk in his ways, and to observe his decrees, his commandments, and his statutes, and to hearken to his voice. And Yahweh has distinguished you today to be for him a treasured people, as he spoke to you, and to observe all his commandments, and to make you supreme over all the nations that he made, for praise, for renown, and for splendor, and so that you will be a holy people to Yahweh your Elohim, as he spoke. 27. Moshe and the elders of Yasharal commanded the people, saying, Observe my entire commandment that I command you this day. It shall be on the day that you cross the Jordan to the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you. You shall set up great stones, and you shall coat them with plaster. You shall inscribe on them all the words of this Torah when you cross over, so that you may enter the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as Yahweh the Elohim of your forefathers spoke about you. It shall be that when you cross the Jordan, you shall erect these stones, of which I command you this day, on Mount Ebal, and you shall coat them with plaster. There you shall build an altar for Yahweh your Elohim, an altar of stones. You shall not raise iron upon them. Of whole stones shall you build the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall bring upon it burnt offerings to Yahweh your Elohim. You shall slaughter peace offerings and eat there, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim. You shall inscribe on the stones all the words of this Torah, well clarified. Moshe and the Kohanim, the Levites, spoke to all Yasharal, saying, Be attentive and hear, O Yasharal. This day you have become a people to Yahweh your Elohim. You shall hearken to the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, and you shall perform all his commandments and his decrees, which I command you this day. Moshe commanded the people on that day, saying, These shall stand to bless the people on Mount Gerizim, When you have crossed the Jordan, Simeon, Levi, Jehudah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin, and these shall stand for the curse on Mount Ebal, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. The Levites shall speak up and say to every man of Yasharah in a loud voice, accursed is the man who will make a graven or molten image, an abomination of Yahweh, a craftsman's handiwork, and then place it in secret. And the entire people shall speak up and say, Aman. Accursed is one who degrades his father or mother. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who moves the boundary of his fellow. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who causes a blind person to go astray on the road. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who perverts the judgment of a proselyte, orphan, or widow. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who lies with the wife of his father, for he will have uncovered the robe of his father. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who lies with any animal. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who lies with his mother-in-law. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who strikes his fellow stealthily. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who takes a bribe to kill a person of innocent blood. And the entire people shall say, Aman. Accursed is one who will not uphold the words of this Torah to perform them. And the entire people shall say, Aman.
Whew, boy, all that is recorded with the two tablets. Those two tablets that was placed in the Ark of the Covenant. Our forefathers, our forefathers said Aman. We're reading it. And all of that was recorded by Yah and confirmed. And that's how the covenant was sealed. We said Amen to everything that was written in the laws. We agreed to it. Sorry, I just wanted to add that in.
No, you good. Say what's on your mind. And that none of that really sounded like hard or off, you know. I agree to all that.
Yeah, God.
It's logical. It lets you know that our creator is logical, and he's just basically telling them to do right by a person. You see somebody, help them. You don't, repay, evil for good or good for evil. It makes sense, like you said. It wasn't that hard.
Nope, it's easy.
That's right. My grandmother and even my mom used to say when we were kids, listen, the time it take you to do bad, why don't you just do good and get it over with? It, and it just made so much sense as a kid because as kids you gotta test it out, and it's like yeah, yeah, yeah. The time it took me to do all that bad thing, I'm planning it. I'm gonna wait till I go take the cookie from the cookie jar kind of thing, and it's like it always seemed to. I can never do wrong. I always get busted. I'm very bad at doing evil. Yeah, make sure I get spotted right away. So it's like, yeah, you know what? It's just easier to, hey, Ma, you mind if I have a cookie? Oh, why don't you finish your homework and then you can have a cookie? Yeah, you can go have a cookie. And that worked out so much easier. There was no plotting involved, no looking over the shoulders. But that's it. I yield.
I would love to live in Jerusalem going under this where you don't have to worry if people, everybody keeping these laws. Everybody, these are the moral laws, how to treat people. Everything is covered. So for us to know what the Most High deems as right, and it makes sense. Everything that we read, and like some things, okay, we ain't in a time, but even now reading it, it makes sense what's being said. Even the part I saw in a previous verse I want to touch on where it said if somebody kills somebody, you take a measuring from that place to the next. Like I even see CSI in here. I see the Most High showing them how to investigate things,
Huh?
how take it to the judge, the officials,
That
measure it from the which
who
town that he came
whose
from,
property,
and
right?
and
Where did you
you
find the
know.
body?
So I'm like, whoa, this CSI. The
Yes.
Most High got everything covered. How
Yes.
to treat people, how to investigate things, how to. He didn't raise a. He didn't call us to be a dumb people. He gave us knowledge and information and
Mhm.
all of these things so that we can live righteously. He left nothing out. Praise Yahweh.
Praise him, Sage. And the thing, that's what I always tell people. When they're like, yo, God, what do you believe in? Oh, I believe in this, or I believe in that, or I don't believe in this. I said, even if you don't have a belief, you say you believe in science and you believe in evolution is a belief. It's a religion. You have to believe in all that madness and math to believe, take it as truth. So it's a religion within itself. So whatever but what I get to tell them, which they cannot combat against, is, well, I'm very sorry for you. I feel sorry for you because my God, my Elohim, my Creator, took the time out to make sure He left me laws. He didn't just throw me upon this earth into a world of vicious people, animals, poison, lizards, snakes, and all these things, and didn't give me instructions to how to weave my way through life, not only with the animals, but with the people. He left me instructions, and I said I wouldn't pray to any other God any other way. To toss people into a world and you don't leave them some kind of laws and instructions? That's madness. What kind of God do you worship? Mine left me instructions and prophecies to go along with it and told me what to expect. So I'll stick to my Yah all day long. They can never do that. Can't top that.
The belief they believe that as long as you're not hurting nobody, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you okay. That's not what the Most High said. It says to keep His laws.
It's about pleasing what he wants, what's good in his eyes.
Not about
Because Proverbs say there's a way that seems right to a man, but it ends their death. So it's not about what you want to do, what the Most High find pleasing. And that's why I love like to serve him. A lot of people, they rather serve their congregations, they camp, pastor. They don't want to serve Yah because of what he's saying go against what they've been taught to believe in their religion or whatever ideology. They gonna go, they don't want to be ostracized by people. So they're not looking at what's right in Yah's eyes. They're thinking about how do I look to somebody else.
Con, con. Man, we read there's so much going on in every chapter that I just find myself just trying to make notes, highlight, but who would know where to start? I'm trying to go all the way back from the first, from when we started, because I had some things I want to comment on, but no worries, we'll get to
You
that
can
tomorrow.
bring it all out, man. We ain't got nothing but time tonight.
And I would like for Menelec to go back to Deuteronomy 16 for me and read that in the Hebrew because that's that was a good one right there. So I would love to go back to that one when we done.
All right, I'm gonna write it down. Deuteronomy 16. Okay.
Yeah, I
What verse?
wanna know about those fiery serpents too. We never got to in Numbers. He was gonna break that down.
The what?
The fiery serpents.
Where was that? That was today or
Oh
yesterday's
no, that
lesson?
was, I think that was yesterday or the other day. But you said it was too much going on or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like even today, there's so much going on, and sometimes I would just like to just sit back and listen to others discuss it because I get filled up with so many to say. It's like I want to say, respond to so because sometimes there are things within the chapter as we're reading that I've studied on, and it's like, oh, I got this, and there are gems within there that it's hard to see, but I don't want to interrupt the reading. And then as we keep going, there's something else that I have in my notes that's like gem that I discovered a few years ago, but I don't want to interrupt it. And it just keeps going like that. And at the end, it's like, I don't even want to start. I wouldn't know where to begin. The fiery serpent, I have notes that would require more of I think, a lesson to get proper understanding because we were dealing with banners and us getting hurt. And, the word they have for putting up a pole, the same word they use for pole in the Hebrew, it's the word that's translated a lot of times as banner. So you look at it and like, oh, is it a nakash on a pole, or is it a nakash on a banner like a flag? Understand, like a serpent that kadush on a flag. Is it something like that? But I know that word is used sometimes. It's transferred as a banner and not a pole. So just knowing that, it can give the mind like a different. It's like, okay, was it a pole with a snake on it, or was it a flag? Because remember, Dan's flag also was the serpent. He had his on his flag that he had for his tribe. He had the serpent sign. Scripture says so. Again, that's why we're here to try and get down to, okay, let us say what the word meant. Well, did it mean banner? Did it mean pole? Did it mean a signia? Let us decide by studying or reading all the way through, and we're the people, and then we would put the right word to it. Understand what I'm saying? So it takes a lot more because it has other verses you have to tie in and what was going on there. So I can't do that justice right now. I don't want to do it off the top of my head to mess it up. That won't be fair um, to you guys or to anyone listening. So
Yeah,
we can do that for another day.
we
I
can do another room on all that. We can go back on that.
yes,
I actually always wondered about that serpent on the pole thing, like because I noticed the hospitals and ambulances have that symbol
yes,
as like a
yeah.
simple healing and stuff. That's actually where I got the S in my name because I created the name.
Egypt had it on their walls too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Because when in like 2017, because I was making music, so I was thinking of a name, and I was like, I just used the dollar sign on my own instead of a regular S to
Mhm.
represent the serpent on the pole.
Everything using the
Yeah,
serpent on the pole,
and
just
that's
even in the stores too. If you look on the symbolism on the store, how they got on the stores,
mhm.
it's also on there too.
Yeah, in medicine they use it, and this is what I'm saying. This is how these other nations they have copied us. A lot of from the scriptures. Spider-Man, the writer, got the idea of Spider-Man from the movies. The writer got the idea of Spider-Man, of Superman. I mean, not the movies, from the scriptures. He got it from Zechariah. They got the writing of Superman. We have in there scriptures writing, well, in the last days is going to be a one time event only, Yah says, where I'm men. He said, the ones who are weak. He said, those, even if you are weak, you're crippled, you could be lame. Whatever, Yah is going to strengthen you. Scripture says it's going to be a one time only event. Yah says. And it says, those who are feeble, those who can't walk, he said, they shall be as the house of David and as David himself in strength. So when we got a battle, that's what we rely on. I rely on, I take Yah's word for everything. It even tells you in the last days, I've been preaching this for a few years. Listen, guys, you're going to have babies coming out smarter and smarter. And guess what? By 1 and 2 years old, they're going to be walking and talking and doing all that. What did the scripture say, though, about babies? It said that when what? It said they're going to be coming out at three
Yep.
months old,
Talking
talking.
and walking.
Thank you very much. You see how the kids are these days? You think this thing ain't speeding up and this thing ain't real? They had a kid I watched the other day. A brother and sister had a kid, and it was a TikTok video, and this thing popped across my screen. So, I see our people. Let me check it out. It's like a 1 minute little TikTok thing. And I go, and they filming this baby. It just born. It's just a few hours, and the mother has him in the arms. Somebody, a third party, is filming. Daddy is sitting talking to the baby, and the baby has. I don't know if anybody saw it. Babies, their neck muscles are not strong enough to lift up, and their head will be wobbly. No, this kid just kept his head up. It looked like he did, and his eyes were wide open. Like you couldn't say that kid had just born. You couldn't say that kid. You couldn't say wide open, and his neck is straight, holding up on himself, not on the mother's shoulder, and he's just looking around. And you see his big eyes just look, and his head is turning from very slowly from side to side with his eyes, like he's just observing the world. Listen, that thing blew me away. As a mother, knowing the strength of the neck of a child, this kid came out of the womb and his neck and his eyes were open. And even the dad said, Yo, what's wrong with this? This is weird. They were like, This is weird, man. You were just born. You're just a few hours old. But what? Your eyes are, yo. It was such, and I tell you, I marvel at that video. And I remember right back to the scripture again. Yah says in the last days, these kids are going to be coming out. What?
Or it came out Benjamin Button.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Speaking
go.
of movies, though, that was funny because I like about the superheroes. I used to think like they got the idea of Hulk from Samson, and also the 300, that movie, the Spartan
Yeah.
300. If you read Judges, Gideon had 300,
That, that,
and they how many people?
Yep.
thank
They
you.
took a lot of stuff from
Thank
our
you.
movies.
Thank you.
I
I've
mean,
been
from our
sharing.
scriptures. Yep.
Yeah, I've been sharing that for years. Guys, do you know that movie? Look, I told my niece, she was like, and then when I showed her the scriptures, I did that. I said, the movie Spartan, that's about us. And I showed them all the places. Remember when it says we're going to be scaling walls and all that? Those are the ability we're going to have a once in a lifetime ability, and these are going to be given to the men. It says they're going to be walking warriors. They're going to have the spears, and it says even if somebody were to slip, it said no man, their weapon will not hurt each other. You remember that?
Yes.
Even
Say
the
they
weapon
won't be.
they
That's
to go into,
Joel, right?
they won't even be able to harm each other. It's like the video games when they have player friendly or whatever they call it, where your partners them shooter friendly, or where you can shoot all the bullets but it won't kill them. But if you turn it on or off, then it's like you got to watch how you're shooting because you could kill your allies too that's with you. I forget what it's called in the video games, but yeah, but player friendly, I think.
Friendly fire or something.
Friendly fire, that's what it is. Friendly fire, you can turn it on and off. So that's what it is. The friendly fire, we can't harm ourselves. And it even said we walk in ranks. No one lose their rank or their step. And exactly, check this out. Exactly how it describes that. Read that again when you get a chance. Read that whole thing slowly. And you're gonna see how it says. It says, no man moves out of their rank. If they had to go to the east, they went to the east. No man, it's like there was no shifting. What does that remind you of? Isn't that how
On one
the
accord.
cherubims? No,
Yeah,
isn't that how the cherubims were described? I tell you, the cherubims. If anybody want to believe and say, okay, they're angels in heaven and all that, those angels are heaven are people who existed before that made it past that mark. The ones who started in the first place, who made it past that mark, to got to be what? Guardians around Yah to do His bid, and they're not even in His realm. It tells you they're in. There's a heaven, a firmament below them, and then you have the seraphims and all them there. So if anything, these guys are there, but how does it describe the seraphims? The seraphims them have the same faces, the same four faces as the four flags of the children of Israel for the east, west, north, and south territory. You can't make that up. So when people say, well, who was God talking to? Oh, he was talking to JC. JC was by his side. No, if he was talking to anybody, he was talking to the cherubims. And he said, let us make man in our image. And that's why you have what? Man. And when he said man, he said, let us make Adam in our image. And what he made? Adam. And what other face does this cherubim have? They have the oxen, right? Which we would call the beast. You have the serpent, right? Well, we got introduced to him in the scripture. We got the lion, Judah, and we got the man, which represent the Adamic line, and everything else, the fierceness of us. So remember, the scripture says, and Ephraim shall push from the west like an oxen, with the horn like an oxen. So that was their flag. Ephraim was known for having the oxen on his flag. Judah was known for having the lion on his flag. That Dan was known for having the lion of his flag. So the leaders of the east, west, north, and south had their flags. It just so happened the flags happened to be the same faces of the cherubims that's written about in Ezekiel 1. These are the little things. These are the little things. The things that always confuse me are the things I always go to and ask the Most High to please show me understanding. So, because what I'm hearing out here, and I don't know it, it's like what I'm hearing out here. Please, Father, give me understanding because what they're saying, what I'm hearing, it's not making sense, and people are hearing bullshit. It's not making sense, Father. And I would stay in it. I don't care how long it takes me to keep studying until I check the whole entire scripture to get the understanding. And then it's like, one day I'm sitting down and it's like, oh, holy snap. So I don't know. That does not it makes more sense to me, the cherubims, than all the other things I've heard all my life. Now tying it in to the camp when they were lined up for military surrounding, the tabernacle and everything, and that was their warrior stance when they went out to battle. And that was the flags that they had, because Yah told them, make banners for all of you, all 12 houses. But then when they had to lead the south, 3 tribes for each corner, east, west, north, and south, then it was whoever's leading the tribe, they have one official banner. And it just happens to be the faces of the cherubims. So what's that saying? What, I'm not telling anybody what to think. I'm just saying, let's take it from there.
No, I ain't noticed that either. I didn't even put that together. I'm about to make you my adopted grandmama, like
Oh, oh,
a dear my other one.
oh, oh, you felt,
Dia
oh,
came
that
I got
hurt
in
some
you.
a
stuff.
couple days ago. I ain't seen her no more. But yes, I said, Warifa, that's your auntie, that's my sister.
I'm flattered. Thank you so much. I love you guys too. I'm in
A-
here.
a-
I gave up YouTube.
And if you want to,
Okay.
you can look up like with the 12 stones and the ephod, what they mean, and
Yeah.
the 12 banners. you can
Mm-hmm.
you can look it up. You can say the 12 stones of Israel, the 12 stones, so you can see what they represent. And then
Yeah.
what she was talking about with the banners, you can look up the
Yeah.
banners and it'll show you each tribe and their banner to show you that she know exactly what she's talking about.
Yes. See, now you got me flipping through my book because I did my whole thing on that a couple of years ago, and I was trying to map out and find out, see, okay, who belongs to what stone. Yeah, because the 12 stones, remember the ephod, the high priest, only the high priest had the 12 stones, 6 stones on the right shoulder, 6 stones on the left. That's where they get the pattern of putting, when military chiefs and police officers, they put the stripes on top of the shoulder. They get all of that from the scripture.
Yep.
That's how the ephod, that's how, that's what I'm saying. Everything, how we dress in royalty, how they do things military wise, they all learn it from our judicial system. That's why they call it the judicial system, because they got it from what? The laws of what? Coming under what? Judah. That's why it's called the judicial system. There's so much that it's in our face. But yeah, it says I did do that. And each stone was a different stone, and each stone represented the 12 tribes. So when I had discovered that, I started because I wanted to know, okay, which stone is who? Like I'm just a stickler for that. which stone is who. And
Me
I
too. Me too. I'm right there with you. Yep.
okay, so yeah, we can. I'm trying to go to my pages. It's so much. I'm trying to find, see if I can find it and read them out. But I don't know. Did you ever get to where you can start matching up the names to the stone according to the scriptures? Like,
Yeah,
if
yes, and also you can
what's
if if you want for other references, you can look it up, and you'll look up the 12 stones of Israel, and it'll give you a chart, and it'll say what, like the jasper stone, and I know Levi is the Cuban, I forgot how to pronounce that, Cubanic or
the
whatever.
yeah, carbuncle? Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see like what each Levi, I think is the there's the Judah, the Emerald. It got them. Here they go right here. I just said it.
So you
Cause
saying they actually have like they have this like
yeah,
people? Oh, see, I didn't
I'm
look
gonna
that.
try to put it up.
Oh no, no. Like me personally, please don't tell me, because everything I do, I try to get it from the scriptures. So I don't want like what you if you I don't want you to call it out.
You can
I'll
match.
I'll, I'll mute myself. I'll just lower my volume if you want to share it. I don't want to block the audience from hearing it, but I don't want anything to compromise what I'm getting. You know what I mean?
Something they can have too, and then they can go and do your cross references.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So go ahead. You want?
That's what you do. You do it, and then you do your cross references.
Oh, I'm trying to find it. I know because I want to now I'm very curious. I want to see if this what I was coming up with on my own, just trying to
Yeah,
the little things. I want to see if it matches anything that they okay, right here. I found the page. Oof.
Exodus 28:37.
So what I have right down in my notes here, I want to see how close I am. There's three of them I think I'm missing. I couldn't figure them out. But for Reuben, what I got was Sardis.
Yeah,
For is that's what they
yeah,
have?
yeah. What's the
Okay,
next one?
I have Simeon, I have Topaz.
Yeah, that's correct.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all right. Well, maybe the three that I'm missing, maybe
What three
let's
you missing?
I'm missing Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Those are the three I could not work it out with the scriptures. I could not work out those three. I
Naphtali is the
searched.
Ligur. It's a red stone.
Okay.
Ligure. That's what
Yeah.
Naphtali is.
Uh-huh.
Gad is a gate.
Yeah.
Agate.
Uh-huh.
And who else?
And okay, and the other one would be the diamond. Okay, so it's Naphtali,
The
Gad, and
diamond is
Asher.
Zebulon.
Ash.
The diamond Asher is the amethyst.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, Okay, wait a minute. No. Okay, let me tell you what I have, and then tell me if wrong. Okay, I have Reuben, Sardis, Simeon, Topaz, Levi is the carbuncle, Judah I have as the emerald, Dan I found is the sapphire. Okay, the diamond I couldn't find that. The ligure I couldn't find that. Agate. The amethyst I have as Issachar. The beryl tell me if I'm wrong. Let me know so I can put a check to it. If it's going against what you have, what you're. So I have the amethyst. I have down Issachar number 12. Oh, I even had a. Oh man, that was a lot of work. Beryl I have Zebulon. The onyx, I have Joseph, and Jasper, I have Benjamin. The ones that I couldn't figure out, I couldn't find in scriptures matching up was the diamond, the ligure, and the agate. But you're telling me they have them?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what it's saying, that they have them. Everything you said was except for and when you get to uh with okay, I'll tell you what they have right
Yeah,
here.
tell me. I'm gonna write them down. Yes.
Okay, they got Reuben the
Uh-huh.
Sardis, Simeon the Topaz, Levi the Carbuncle, Judah the Emerald, Zebulon the sapphire, Issachar the diamond, Gad the ligure, Dan the ligure, Gad the agate, Asher the amethyst,
Wait,
Naphtali.
hold on, sis. I'm sorry. I got um, I got Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, the emerald, Dan, the is the
Ligure.
okay. Dan is the URE, and then you said Naphtali is the
Naphtali is the beryl.
Naphtali is the bearer. Okay, all right,
Shucks.
and
And what was it? What else? So Naphtali, Zebulun is the sapphire. Gad is the agate. Um, Judah is the Joseph is the onyx, and Benjamin is the jasper.
and Benjamin is the.
Yeah, Benjamin is the jasper.
So this is Gad. Is the no? I want to check this and see like how off I am in my studies, and I want to check and see where they found it. Now I gotta search hard and see where they
Ah,
came up. I've been searching for a few years now, trying to see what stones match these three. I can't find it in scripture, so which tells me I need to do more diligent search. So, but yeah, you're right, sis. The stones, and that's another thing people don't understand. Even the ephod, the stones, everything is about Israel. Everything is about Israel. Everything is about not Israel, Yasharel. Everything is about us. Even the stones and all that. How can anybody be grafted into something like that?
mm,
How can you? What are you gonna graft? Are you gonna come and graft some like some fake jewelry?
mm,
They don't understand that I already had my order put in. I put my order in when I found out who we are and sat down and see all the work that they've had our forefathers doing, slave and all that. Guess what? I started designing my own house, my own house, my own what you call day after salvation house. Let's call it.
mm-hmm,
And my order, Yah knows. Oh, they gonna dig. Oh, they're gonna mine because all of my doorknobs, I want them to be pure diamond. You're talking about the Hope diamond and all that. Inspector Clouseau gonna need a bigger magnifying glass from far, far away because he won't get that close. But yeah, this is how we are. We are that precious, and they're gonna mine. Can you imagine turning your doorknob is gold? You have these imams and all these sheiks and everything. They have golden toilet bowls and toilet seats, golden showers, golden thing. It's pure, pure gold. That was us. That was us. That was Solomon even chained up when he had prisoners of these wicked nations. Solomon even put pure gold chains, gold shackles on them. Even our prisoners were in style. Some people probably wanted to get arrested just so they could get hold of it, so they can get away with the shackle. That's funny though. But can you imagine? That's how these elites are living now, and it's like that was us. Yeah, these 12 stones on the ephod, that's us. And people talk about the Urim and the Thummim, those two stones. When we started to fall away, it's like, man, we don't even have somebody to talk to Yah anymore. It's like Yah is like, okay, I'll talk to you through the stones. Just talk to me. Come, high priest, come talk. When the stone resonates, you will know my answer if it's a yes or no. It's like we just started to drift away so far from the Garden of Eden all the way down to it's like we start to drift away, and people, I heard one guy one time, I don't even want to mention the demon's name, but he started make fun of it and saying, oh, it's like dice. The omen and tumen is two stones like tossing a dice, and you asking God a question, and it's like and which one's gonna do this, and that's your answer. And he was making mockery, and I tell him, I said because if ignorance like yours, why harm could come upon you, and then you want to question and know why you're going through what you're doing, and you have to see what he went through on live, 2 episodes of literal I don't even want to say, because if I said it, some people might know who I'm talking about, and I don't want to bring up any. But yeah, you can see the demon like literally come out live. Yah made it where this person mm, reacted and did all of those stuff, and the worst side of any man, any woman would want to see, or any man would ever want to look at some another man. Just brought out the worst with him multiple times, and it's like, yeah, that's what Yah does. You go and mock, and then so I said it's because of your ignorancy. Because if you know the two Hebrew words, the Urim and the Thummim, you would know that Urim mean light, and you would know that Dumi means perfection. So those two stones represented. Yah told the priests, keep that close to your heart. That's why those two were put into the breastplate, and they were named. It's perfection. The Lord, the light is the laws. It tell you keep the laws next to your heart, and Dumim, and perfection with them. Urim and the Tumim mean light and perfection. The laws and the perfection of it. But idiots who don't love Yah would make mockery of it. And when they don't understand it, they make mockery of themselves. Oh, I'm sorry. I do tend to rant a lot. Sorry.
You're all good. Um, Menelec, do you want Menelec to do Deuteronomy 16?
You want me to like to do Deuteronomy 16?
Somebody said something about him reading it in Hebrew or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah. My bad. I'm pulling it up. Oh, which verse did you want?
Deuteronomy 16.
The whole chapter?
Yeah, for edification. Yes. If you
All
can,
right.
thank you, man elect.
Yeah, no problem. So it's like Shamawar Atha Hadesh Ha'abib, observe, be circumspect, take heed to, look closely, regard, reserve, preserve, be a watchman over. Etah Hodesh Ha'abib, the month of Abib, or like the green ears of corn. What Ashata, and keep, uh, accomplish, bestow.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I'm sorry for stopping you, Menelik. Did you say Deuteronomy 16?
yeah,
16 verse 1?
yeah. I'm looking at a different one that's like all in the.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me
yeah,
pull it
that's
up.
different. That's not what I'm reading. Yeah, that sounded.
Let me pull it up on. I'm gonna just go to Kabod for it. Yeah, this one is different. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was
Well,
going crazy for. Okay.
well. I mean, it's about the same. Deuteronomy 16. It's talking about like keep the month of spring or whatnot. But I'm just going into it like just from the straight Hebrew. Like in
No,
your
no,
Hebrew,
but
does it still say?
the words you were using in Hebrew, I'm reading it. I actually have my Hebrew open right now, trying to follow you.
Yeah.
And you started off with Shamad, and there's no. I don't see that. I don't see like the words you were using. That's not how it starts off in what I'm reading. So that's why I had to ask you which.
What does it? What does it say in yours? And does it say Shamor et Hodesh hala ha'abib?
No, Deuteronomy.
What does it say?
Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 16, 1 for me says, "Welo takim lek matseba," and do not set up for you images, asher shana, which I hate. No, asher shana Yahweh, which Yahweh hates. Eloik,
Hmm.
your God. Yahweh, your God hates. So that's what I mean. I'm reading it here, but what you're saying is
That's Deuteronomy 16, or is that Exodus? Is that Deuteronomy 16?
16 and
Yeah,
verse 1.
Yeah, because my Deuteronomy.
yeah. Mine is
Ooh.
saying in the English, it's saying like observe the month of like first like spring, and keep the Passover of your God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Saying the same thing, right?
wow. Oh, okay. I know what it is. In the Hebrew, it's like a verse, a chapter. It's like ahead or behind because it's numbered differently in the Hebrew. That's what. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Okay, so
Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
yeah, so it says, and I'm gonna just read it like Yahweh, Shamawara ta hadash ha'abab. Observe, be a watchman over, be sure of, have circumspect, take heed to, eta hodesh or hadash, the new moon of ha'abib or ha'bayab, which is like the green ears of corn or like things that are growing like spring. Wa'asheta, and keep, govern over, take charge of, prepare, the Peshach, the Passover offering to Yahweh Elohecha or Alahayah, Ke Behodesh Habayah, for the month of like spring or like the new moon Bahodesh, how Shiacha, it's like Shiacha, but it's like a Tazah. Um, bring forth or like pull out or be risen. Yahweh al Hayat, He's risen you out of Misraim, Layla by night. Wezabata, the kill or offer the sacrifice of Peshach, to Yahweh Eloheka, Zan, the sheep, the lamb, a bakar, the herd of the bulls, the calves, the cows, the heifers, by makom, in the like the designated place, ashar, that yabar Yahweh la shakan shema sham, and the herd, like the bull, the calf, the cattle, the herds, into like the designated place or like home, your country, your space, ashar, that Yabhar, Yahweh Lashkan, Shema, Sham, that he shall choose to establish his name. Le Takal Allah Hamatz. You shall not eat with like leaven bread. Shabbat Yamam Takal Allah. 7 days you shall eat, consume therewith, Mashat Lahem, with unleavened bread, or like an unleavened bread or cake. One ke behafazon, of affliction in haste. Yashata ma'aratz Misrayim, you came forth, you shot forth, you sprung from, um, you escaped ma'aratz Misrayim, from the land of Egypt or captivity. La'aman tazakar ata yam sheteka ma'aratz. To that end you may remember or be earnest with, burn incense, be mindful of, remember or visit eta yom, the day, shataka or zadaka or zatak, which means like when you came forth, Ma'arat, from the land, Mitzrayim, or captivity. Kal Yemei Hayeka, you will remember forever, all the days of your life. Wela Yare'a Leka Sha'or, and do not approve of like leaven bread. Bakal Gabalka Shabbat Yamam or Yamim, with you and your coast or like your great landmarks or borders. 7 days. Wela Yalen, men, neither remain all night anything of like the flesh, Habashar, Ashar Tazabah, that you sacrificed, Ba'arab, of evening, by Yom, the day, Harishon, the first, until the morning, La Bakar. Le Takal La Ba'a Eta Hafashah, Ba'ahad Sharika, uh, like lay, no, Takal, do you, like, or like attain, Las Ba'a, like to sacrifice or slay, Eta, Hafashah, the Passover, Ba'achad, in any one of your, like your Sharaka, your gates, Ashar, Yahweh Alaheka, Nathan, Lak, that Yahweh your God is given to you. Ke Am Al Hamakom Ashar, for it is for like the place that Yabhar, Yahweh Alahayak, Lashakan, has he given you to establish or to inhabit continuously. Shema, Sham, like his name, to be there. Tajabah, you shall sacrifice. Etah Hafeshach, the Passover, Ba'arab, in the evening. Kebal Hashemesh Mawad, at the going down of the sun, at the time, Zateka, that you shot forth, you proceeded out of, you sprung forth, you came free from captivity, Mizraim. Ubashalta we'akalta bamakom ashar yab'ar Yahweh. You shall roast and eat it. We'akalta, uh, uh, plenty is like eat plenty. Bamakom, in the place that, like your home, your country, your space. Ashar yab'ar Yahweh, that Yahweh shall choose, your God, Elaheka, Bo, Upaneta, and in turn, uh, Babakar, in the morning, Wahalata, and to like wander, uh, behave in your tents, la o halaka, Sheshet, Yamim takal mashot, 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, Bayom Hashebe, on the seventh day, Asheret Yahweh Eloheka lo ta'asha, and be a solemn assembly or a meeting to Yahweh your God. You shall not do work, ta'asha malaka, or business or industrious things, or work of man. Shabbat Shabbat, uh, Tashpar Lak Mehalel Harmas Bakama. 7 weeks shall be your number, to that you shall begin or gather the grape thereof, or the inheritance. Harmash, to put like in the sickle. Bakama, to the standing. Tahal, like a cornstalk, a grown up cornstalk. Tahal, Lasfar, to count. Shabbat, Shabbat, 7 weeks. We'ashata hag Shabbat, Yahweh Eloheka Beshat. You shall keep, be a watchman over, be prepared for, be a workman to, uh, appoint, accomplish, Hag, Shavuot, the feast of weeks, to Yahweh Eloheka, your God, Mesat, as like a tribute, Nadabat, a free will offering, Yadeka, from your hand. Ashar, that then you shall give, or you shall like ascribe or appoint, Ka'ashar, according to Yabaraka, according to what you have been blessed by Yahweh Eloheka, your God. Washamata, you shall rejoice, be glad, be merry, be thankful. Lafane, before Yahweh Eloheka, your God. Ata, Ubaneka, and your son. Ubateka, your daughters. Wa abdeka, wa amneteka, your manservant, your maidservant. The Levites, Ashar, Basharaka, inside of like your gate or your ports, Wahageb, Wahayatom, and to the stranger, the fatherless, the Waha'alamana, Waha'almana, to the widow, Ashar, that are Bakarbaka, like before you or among you, Bamakom, in the place, your home, your country, Ashar Yabhar Yahweh Eloheka La Shaken Shema Sham, that Yahweh establishes his name there. Wazarkata, you shall burn incense, be mindful of, make mention of, remember, uh, K, Abad Hayata Ba Misraya Washmata. You shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and you shall observe, be a watchman to, be circumspect, take heed to, preserve, regard, wa'ashita, and do, be a workman to, be occupied with, observe, labor to, eta hahukim ha'elah, these statutes, ha, hashukot, like Sukkot, feast of like tabernacles, the pavilion, the tent, ta'ashah, observe, be a workman to, be certain for, commit to, uh, labor for, be occupied with, meet, leka shebat yamim, 7 days, ba'ashbeka, that you have like gathered or been uh, gathered to, mega ra neka, from like your threshing or like your lower floor place, umeyekbeka, or umeyekbeka. That's a word I don't really know. It's because it's wine. But like another word for wine. From the wine press. Washamata, you shall like rejoice, be glad. Bahagika, in your feast ata, you ubanka, ubateka, wa abdeka, wa amateka, wa like Levi and the strangers, your manservants, your sons, your daughters, the strangers, the Levites, the fatherless, wa hayatom, wa ha'almana, the widow, ashar, basharaka, that are inside of your gates. Uh, Hold on a second. All right. Shabbat Yamim Ta'ag Yahweh Eloheka Bamakom Ashar Yabhar Yahweh Ke Yabareka Yahweh Eloheka Becho. 7 days you shall keep like celebrate the feast to Yahweh your God in the appointed place that he has chose. Yahweh ke Yabaraka Yahweh Eloheka Beko, because Yahweh shall bless, Yahweh your God shall bless you in all and taba'utaka, and increase you in fruit gain, like revenue, ubekal ma'isha, and in all ma'isha, uh like in all your occupations, everything you do, ya'adika, of your hands, wahayata, uh, and you shall surely be like committed to, ak, shame'ah, rejoicing, shalosh, or like shalawash, like three be'amim, times, or 3 steps, or 3 ranks, bashana, in a year, ye'ara, shall appear, kal, zekareka, all your males, eta, or even male children, fane Yahweh, before Yahweh Eloheka, your God, bamekom, in the appointed place, ashar, yabhar bahag, that he shall choose at the feast, hamashot, of like unleavened bread, ubeag, Shabaot of weeks, Ubehag of the feast, or Hashakot of tabernacles, Wela, Yere'ah etafenai Yahweh Rekam, and do not, and do not make a point to not, and do not appear before Yahweh Rekam, empty, without a cause, or in vain. Uh, Aish kamatenat yado. Every man shall give what can give with his hand. Uh, kaberkat, according to like his like blessing of Yahweh Elohim. Ashar Natan, that he has given to you. Shaftim, judges, with shatarim, and officers. Titen, you shall make leka unto bakal sha'areka in all your gates. Ashar, that Yahweh Eloheka Natan gives to you leka lashbateka throughout your tribes, or like your rods, your scepters, your staffs, your leaders. Where ashpeta, they shall judge etah ha'amet, your people, mishpat zadak, with righteous judgment. Le tate mashepat, le takar fanam, wela teka. Uh, and do not rest do not be slack with like judgment, or bow down to false judgment. Do not respect persons. Wela teka, do not take a shahad, a bribe or a gift. Ke hashahad, for a gift, ya'awar, does like blind you. Ene, your eyes. Hakom, of the wise. Washalaf, it will pervert you or overthrow you. Dabare, even the righteous, the words of the righteous. Uh, zadak, uh, taraf, taradaf, uh, righteousness, you shall like follow or hunt down. Le'eman, to that end, ye, you may live. Wayasrate, and to inherit etah haaretz, the land. Ashar, that Yahweh Allah Hayak Natan is given to you. Uh, le tate, le tata leka asherah kal atz. Ashal mazba Yahweh Allah Hayak ashar ta ashalak. uh do not plant any groves, or like compare anything, any high place, a tree, a shawl, beside or near mazbah, the altar of Yahweh Allahika, your God, that you shall make ta'esha to yourself. Wela takim leka masheba ashar shane Yahweh Eloheka. Neither shall you set up any like image or altars or like pillars that he hates. Uh, that like are is an enemy to you or to your God. And that's it right there.
I got one question. When it say that the place that he chooses to put his name, like two, say you shall celebrate the Passover at the place where he chooses to put his name, not in any of your towns, but in the place that he chooses to put his name. They don't say it. Where is that? Where's the place that he chose to put his name?
It's isn't it Jerusalem?
Jerusalem. So if the Passover, can you keep it in America or wherever you've been scattered at, or are you to keep it in Jerusalem according to the scriptures?
That's why I had mentioned earlier on that I don't keep the holidays. I do it memorial, yeah, so we can tell our friends, mapping it starting. I start my holidays in the
It said,
spring.
"It shall be a
So so
memorial unto you."
so if we know he said that multiple time, his name is there in that land and that land alone, and that's why we had to go and kick. We read that early in Deuteronomy. That's he said that's why he sent us to go. Hey, you guys gonna take this land. I made a covenant with your forefathers, and now the Canaanites who are in the land at this time, they have been polluting my name. And what a lot of people don't realize, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, all three of those brothers had only the Canaanites that was cursed, but Shem, Ham, and Japheth all had the blessings of the Most High. They all had priests. All three of those nations had priests. Who did Joseph marry?
He
He married
Midianite
Potiphar,
or
right? I think
Potiphar's,
was the
yeah,
name.
the priest's daughter.
She was a priestess, exactly. So the Most High made sure he paired Joseph up with a priestess.
And Moses too.
Same,
But remember
ex,
Jethro was a
ex,
Midianite priest, serving the Most
exactly.
High too.
Exactly. This is what, so what people are not understanding is before Israel was born, when Abraham is walking, when Abraham escaped, where did he go to? His family. When Moses escaped and killed the thing, what did he go to? His family in Jethro. What did he do? Walk the sheep. What did Abraham do? He took the other sheep on the other side of Mount Horeb. And the thing is, Mount Horeb is Mount Sinai. It's just the other side of it. The other side of it is where the Shemites, because everybody had laws. Moses' father had laws. Terach had law. Nahor had law. Serug had laws, going all the way back. They all had the laws, but they all fell away. And Yah had to what? Start over again. Abraham, come up, leave your family, starting over again. And there was a lot of death and stuff going on. That Lot's father died. What wickedness was he doing that he died so young? And we can see from Lot and his family thing and what they did, the choices they made, we can see some of that those things rubbed off within his family, making wrong pagan choices. And even when he got spared because of Abraham, he went and set up his tent right where? And set up his gate, his sha'ar, where? Right back in the right in the face of Sodom, after all the destruction and things had died down and all that stuff, right? He chose the land on that side in the field, right where Sodom was. So his heart has always been there. So and people try to say, "Oh, Lot was righteous," and I've heard somebody said today that Abraham and his wife and the kids and everything, they were all righteous. And for me, it's a nice thing to believe, but the scripture doesn't say that. It said Noah was righteous. And the scripture tells you in the laws that the man, if the husband is doing the right thing and he makes a decision and he commands his household, as long as the household, even whether they like it or not, if they go along with it, his household is covered. The man, that's why the men had to go up. The head of every household had to go up on those 3 holidays because they covered the entire household, meaning those who blood relatives, those who are in the house, those who work in the field, everybody who works for your company, everywhere. It covers your entire organization. So that yeah, these important stuff.
It's a memorial, but it's also for us to cry out about, right? Because if we
So
realize we can't do this in the defiled land and we want to go back to our land so bad and we want to do it, then we will really line up right ourselves, first making sure ourselves right, then trying to get our people like, man, we got to cry out to y'all. If we want this to
yep,
end, we all have to cry out.
yep,
Ain't supposed to have feast parties and Passover parties and all that kind of stuff. Ain't nothing to celebrate. We want to get out of here. You like it here, then go ahead and keep celebrate. But we're supposed to be crying out and afflicting
yep,
ourselves, and that's what's missing. That's why we running around, battling each other instead of afflicting ourselves.
so
Battle yourself, afflict yourself first. Make sure you're right with Yah,
that's
and then you don't even supposed to afflict your brothers. We're supposed to be reasoning and loving on each other and telling them we serve a creator of love. We just read the laws where it was telling you how to treat people. It's in the moral laws. Don't
mm-hmm,
unjustly charge people interest and try to charge them up. Don't,
mm-hmm,
like, all of these things is how you treat people. They're moral laws.
mm-hmm.
So if we follow these and try to be the best way you can, follow them to please Yah, but remembering our feast days, and I remember 'em like, oh, I'm visualizing like, oh, they having a good time. Oh man, you and he like in joyful and gladness. They keeping the feast that Yah gave them, and sometimes our people did it just the way He told them, and they were right for years doing it right. Then they'll fall off and mess up. But it wasn't always bad with us and the Creator. When He chose us, He knew that we would go bad. But what about the times when it was good? When our ancestors did follow Him, when they were in the land, keeping
Mhm.
these things exactly as
Hey,
prescribed.
can
It
you
was
imagine?
That's what we have to look forward to.
Can you imagine the joy?
Con.
It's like who doesn't want that? Like, oh my gosh, who doesn't want to be? Who want? I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of people look at it like servant. They don't understand. Not everybody, and it's, the phrase is not everyone was born to be a leader. No, when we get realistically, not everyone wants to be a leader. Not everyone wants to be a president. Some people love drawing and they just, hey, I just want to be an artist. I don't want to be a president. I want to be
Moses
a
didn't
king.
want to be a leader. None of our
Exactly.
forefathers that was chosen
None
wanted to
of
be a
them.
leader.
None of them.
But they
Exactly.
made it.
They didn't
Jeremiah said,
want
I'm a child. Ezekiel said, I got
the
unclean lips. Moses said, I
ex.
can't even speak.
Look at that. And look at Josiah. Josiah was 8 years old.
Con.
He was another hidden one. They had to hide
Yes.
him because they were trying to.
He was named, he
It's
was
8 years
prophesied
old.
by name.
There you go. And 12 years old, what did he do? He was wiser than all the kings, his father that came before him and all that. 12 years old, he made the commandment. Uh-uh. Tear down all the groves, all the trees, anything pagan around it. Tear down. And he was righteous. But him too, he messed up and got killed when Pharaoh Necho. Yeah, Pharaoh Necho is like, but Yah told him, hey, I'm sending Pharaoh against the northern kingdom. Stay out of this, Josiah. But Josiah, with his goodness of, he just, listen, you can have a good heart. It's all good. But if Yah gives you an order, and he's got his reason, northern kingdom needed to be punished. And here goes Josiah, and he went out to go and challenge Pharaoh, not keeping in mind, hey, Yah sent Pharaoh after them. Who am I to interfere? And that's exactly what Pharaoh told him, because Yah had
He
already
told him,
went.
my beef ain't with you. Didn't he say, he said,
Yeah,
I ain't got no problem with you?
yeah. Yeah, and Yah had already told Pharaoh in his dream, just like he told Nebuchadnezzar, just like he told Cyrus. He says, "I control all the kings of the earth. I visit them in their dreams." That's why you hear all these presidents talking about God. Tell me, what did Bush say? I had a dream and God told me to go to war, and then he declared war. All these
Hey, I had a
presidents do the same
question.
thing, huh?
I'm sorry. I had a question about like the way that you explained the word shahad. Like I thought that was really good. Could you explain it one more time, please?
The Shahad, the gate.
Yes, yes, yes. Like the gate. Like so. Like
Yeah.
he took up like his gate, and then like you see the other word where it was talking about like do what I'm telling you to do and be a watchman over it. Like always like pay attention to it.
Yes, watch, because how we have to picture the kings and where our places will build up. Our places will always build up on higher mounds. The king's place was always built up at the highest mount. There were forts, you had watchmen and all that, and then you had on the the other mounds going off. You had people, other watchmen closer to the city. So when anything is coming nearby, those closer, they will give the shout, they will do the smoke signal, whatever thing to get the message there fast. And the king now can make a decision. Hey, we have people coming around the walls, around our gates, approaching from afar. They should be here within the hour, such and such. So just like you see in the movie, and they timed it, and now the king have to make the decision what we're gonna do. So he's gonna send men out to acquire, what is your business, and then they're gonna see, hey, if they slaughtered them, hey, tell your king. Our king says, halt here. What is your purpose here? And then they come back. The king says that. So they shy at the gate. The king sits at the gate. It tells you that all throughout the scripture, right? The king sits at the sha'ad, meaning they sit at the high point to make decisions, and their high point, their view. Lot, the same thing. They actually, with Sodom, they made him a judge. So He was actually a judge at the gate of Sodom for the Sodomites, Sha'ad. And then it also means hairy. It means hairy. It also means the hairy goat, right? It's the word for, and you shall slay the hairy goat. Why do we need to slay a hairy goat? Because it all ties into who the hairy goat represents. That would be tormentors, Esau, right? Be the behind all things, slaying that hairy goat, symbolic. And what else Sha'ad means? Means gate, means hairy goat. It means devil. Um, yeah, it means devil when you look up the word, when you see it mentioned. So that's the word they would transpose also as devil. It means hair, just regular hair, of course. So it, yeah, it has its terminologies in some places. Like even when you were reading just now in the Hebrew, I was seeing, like when I read it in Hebrew, I don't even look. I make sure I'm not even looking at the English. I want to read it and flow it and see what it's saying. And then once you get, it's like getting the lingo of how they talk. So it's like when I'm reading it, I'm seeing it, but then it stops me because I'm saying, I know that's not what it says in English. That's when I would go open up the English and look and see, some Zabish is, and it's like, tag that. And just sometimes little words that would make the story flow better together. It's not translated like that. Uh, let me ask you something. What do you think about, have you ever paid attention to the word Mitzarim? Or what they say, Mitzrayim?
Yeah, I have a question about that too. Yes, yes.
Sound a lot like misery too.
That's exactly where the English word and the words, the Latin Greekish word came from. But go ahead. What's your question, Menelik? Before I go
Yeah,
ahead.
like sometimes the way that it's written, like we know the word is like Mitzrayim, but sometimes the way it's written in there, it'll be like ooh me Mitzrayim, like it's like a bad, like it's like it even sounds bad, like something like sad, like something like like remembering something horrible, like the way that it sounds like ooh me Mitzrayim.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So for me, when I see it, when I read that word, I don't pronounce it in my head. I don't pronounce it Mitzrayim like they say. I pronounce it as it is, like we would do all other Hebrew words. Mitzarim. And we know the root word in there is sar, right? And what does sar means? A troubler, an oppressor, misery. And it also means when you put the wav in it, what does it comes down to? Sur, right? That's where you get Tyre from in the scriptures. So I'm throwing this out there just for you to think. I'm not making it as a truth. But when you go back and look at the name of Sad, Suri, Tyrus, Tyre, you would see the same spirit, the same thing. And when you go to Ezekiel, and Yah said, oh, Tyrus, you walked in the garden. You had on the stones, all the stones. He was a priest in the garden. You had all those stones. People try to make it look like Tyrus was Satan and Satan had a voice and singing and all that thing. No, 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 no. You were a priest. You walked among the stones. Who are the stones? Us, right? The stones on the 12 stones on the ephod. You walked among the stones in the garden. And so when you look at Tyre, his name, Sur, which also means rock with the wav in it, and it goes back to the root word of Sar. And that's telling you, listen, Tyre, I think which chapter in Ezekiel, it talks about the Garden of Eden. And it says, and Yah planted 12 trees in the garden. When I read that, that thing stuck me for a week. I couldn't read anymore. I'm like, wait a minute. Then I had to go back to Genesis. Okay, he said he planted, he's got the tree of good and evil there. He's got the tree of life there. But then he's showing he planted, and this is with Adam. It says he planted Adam in the garden, formed in the Adamah, taken, and then he planted him in the garden on the east, right? In the east and on the east side of the garden. Planted him there in Eden, and uh, um, so then when you read it, when I read that, what came to my mind, right? Like Yash, at least I felt like Yash shot it in my mind. I'm reading it. I'm like, wait, blood fire. Wait, he planted this in the book of Ezekiel. He planted the 12 trees. I know Adam is one of the tree that he planted. I know the tree of knowledge and evil. But hey, that would mean Adam had brothers and sisters. There were 11 of this. This is what came to my mind. And again, I'm just um I am not saying this is true. Anyone who's listening, this is me just taking what's there and putting it together with what's there, if that makes sense. So I said, okay, trees are people. It's usually this using most of the parables and the similitudes. It's used to talk about people and nations. So now in Ezekiel, he's telling us he planted 12 trees in a garden. We already learned that Tyrus was one of those in the garden. We know that the serpent came from a tree, the tree of knowledge and good in the garden. So, and there are 12 trees. So then I'm saying to myself, wait, it can't be this. It can't be this. Like, yeah, the way it's designed, it can't be that perfect. That would mean there were 11 brothers. Again, I'm painting a picture, not saying it's true. There were uh 12 brothers. Adam was the one of the 12 who was chosen, just like Judah is the one who was chosen for kingship and Lord. So at that time, it was in the order. The king was the priest, right? It split up during us, and then when it kept to David, it got back united. David became king and priest, right? So Adam had 12 brothers, and 11 brothers. He was chosen, and just like Dan is the one tribe of all the tribes that did evil and didn't back up and went with the enemy and helped them sell us, just like and Dan's flag was the serpent. So I said to myself, blood fire. Okay, now Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel is giving us more information. There were 12 trees planted in the garden. One of them was Tyrus, that the Most High said he chopped them down, or with this and that, right? Chopping him down. The serpent got kicked out, right? Go. Chopped him down. And that same serpent, that one brother that had the serpent banner, the serpent tribe, we have 12 sons of Israel, and we have that one brother that has the serpent banner, that happens to be the serpent tribe that betrayed us. Again, I am not saying what it's right, but I can make that assumption or that correlation, let's say, because it's written there in Ezekiel. Yah planted 12 trees in the garden. So yeah, and if you don't agree, I'd love to hear it too, and or your opinion on my little putting together there.
Well, we probably could have a room sometime later on it, so people can get. I myself like to hear and observe like all sides and make a calculated decision based on research and stuff like that. So even if can't tell you you're wrong or whatever, I don't. I think it's like you said, your observation, and um, I probably reserve my observation for right now because it's again there are certain aspects if you look at it like when I go to Let me read it. Let me read it. I want to read it for the edification of the room so they can get an idea of what you're talking about, just in case, because we've probably like studied this like extensively, like, so we like, hold on, something ain't right here. This ain't no, Eve ain't eating off no fruit. This ain't no whatever. This serpent got a seed. I mean, so all of your reasoning to come into that is plausible, because when you're reading the text, how it's translated and what they decided to go with, you realize, okay, the serpent is talking. The serpent is in the garden with them. Somehow he's in the garden with them. He's cunning, so he's very smart. He's smarter than them, obviously. And he has a seed. Those are the common things that I see that stands out. What is this serpent doing with a seed? And what do you mean his seed gonna crush your seed head? So these seeds are gonna interact, right? And so all of these things are key things to try to examine. What is this? Who is this? Who is the serpent seed? Now, there are those with another theory that the seed is the serpent is really a cunning fallen angel, if you will, right? And if he's a fallen angel, he's tricked Eve into whatever, and Cain is the son of that serpent. That's why it's his seed and her seed. And Cain does, who is his seed, kill Abel, which is her seed. But the Most High raised up another seed, Seth. And you see how Cain is cursed and whatever. He's a, he's doing his little wicked stuff, right? He's wicked because his seed is of a fallen angel. Guess right? He's a Nephilim, if you will. When you go to Ezekiel 28, what was very interesting is the it starts off saying the king of Tyre. And it said, and then it goes from 13, it's on to something else. So when it first goes to Ezekiel 28, right? It says, and the one before that too, because just like if you keep on you reading up to it, just jumping into Ezekiel 28, if you haven't read 27, 26 to the 5 and so forth, right? Uh, when you get to this right here, it says, Son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre. Yahweh says, because your heart is grown, heart, whatever, you thought you was divine and said, I am divinely enthroned, though you are a human, not divine, you have allowed yourself to think like a God. Kind of like when the serpent told Eve and them, if you will become like God. So this Tyre has the same thing in him whispering to him, obviously, or whatever it is, like he got like a serpent's mentality that's telling him he shall be like God. It say you think yourself allowed like God, so you are wiser than Daniel. No sage is wise as you. By your wisdom you have, and your intelligence you have made yourself a fortune. You have put gold and silver into your treasures, right? But then when you go to 13, it's something else. Son of Tyre, raise a lamp for the king of Tyre. You say to him, Yahweh says this, and now here you go right here. 13 kicks off. You were in the garden in Eden, and all kind in the garden of Yah. All kinds of gems formed your mantle, your topaz, your jasper. So you go with these stones, right? And they
Con.
were all pendants made of gold. All was ready on the day you were created. I made you a living creature with outstretched wings. As guardian, you were on the holy mountain of Yah. You walked amid the red hot court. Your behavior was exemplary from the day you were first created until guilt appeared in you. Because your busy trading has filled you with violence and sin, I have thrown you down from the mountain of Yah and destroyed you, guardian winged creature. And amid the coals, your heart has grown proud because of your beauty. Your wisdom has been corrupted by your splendor. I have thrown you to the ground. I have made you a spectacle for the kings. By your immense number of your crimes, by the dishonesty of your trading, you have defiled your sanctuary. So I have brought fire out of you to devour you. I have reduced you to ashes on the ground before the eyes of all who saw you. Of the nations, all who know you are stunned at your fate. You are an object of terror gone forever. The word of Yahweh was dressed as follows. So we know that this Tyree person ain't no winged creature. What is this symbolizing right here?
The the
What
it's
is what is this that is thrown down? And then you'll see this
okay,
same wording in I think Isaiah 14, when he said, how's thou fallen from heaven, O
right.
son of the morning, whose thought you shall
So
be like God, and you shall raise your throne above the thrones of Yah. So it's kind of getting me to
that
the point where if you are under the thing that there are so-called fallen angels, Psalm 82 would give you that too when he sit in the judgment of the gods and say you have failed to do your the diligence of supporting humans to do good. Instead, you corrupted yourself and then went to corrupt the humans to do bad.
what
So if you're
I
going
don't
from
know.
that point of view,
No, I'm not. I'm
no, no, I'm
definitely
not saying you. I'm not saying
oh
you. I'm saying on the other side of what you're saying. You saying these are nations. I'm saying, but if those who are believing in the sons of God are angels, they're
oh
fallen angels, the
oh
ones who fell, the 20
mm-hmm,
who say, hey, 200 or whatever, however many that came down and supposed to win with the women and had giants. So
mm-hmm.
if you want that, then you would see it. Is this what they're talking about? Are these
How it's
fallen
yes.
angels?
How,
Is this
no.
what? No, I'm saying this is the other side. You got one side that's saying this nations is humans, but then if you have those who say that these are angels that went into the women and created giants, then you're dealing with something outside of human agency. So is the angel that's over Tyree the one controlling Tyree to think like he's like God too? Because according to the Most High say he numbered the children of men according to the sons of God. So if you're taking these sons of God as being angels, where it say he took 70 angels with Michael at their head, and now they are over the 70 nations. In the book of Zechariah chapter 5, you'll see this angel, it talks about two female angels with wings, and they're sitting under the ephod, and they have wickedness in the barrel. And the man say, I talked to the angel and I asked him, what was this? And he said, this is wickedness, and they went to set it up in Shinar. So
Yes.
it was if angel, wicked or whatever, right, was controlling whoever Nimrod at this time is sitting in Shinar. And we know from that Nimrod was given this by the Most High Yahweh, however wicked he was, it said the Most High made him mighty and strong and made him ruler and king. No matter how wicked he was, the Most High set that up. And according to, if you number the sons of God as angels who carry out Yah's will, no matter what, to guide the humans to do these things, then Ezekiel 28 is showing you the human Tyree, and it's showing you the winged creature that's walking on the coals that the Most High threw down, and then you see that's when you see those two, a human being not controlled, well controlled if you look at it, by the or influenced in a way by the fallen angel. If you on that side, it's two sides. You can have the side where you believe in angels and good and bad ones, however you may look at it, or if there are no angels and everything is humans, nations, and mankind on earth. And see, that's
I
why
that,
I think there's
okay.
a conversation we need to like really delve into so we can know, because there's two sides. Some people
Right.
don't see the angel; they see men. Them sons of God are men and with women, and then some see angels, and it depends again on how you reading into it, but also I don't know who subscribes to whatever other books.
Right.
If you got the book of Jasher, the book of Enoch, I've read all these books, so I'm just taking them
Sis,
all into
you
account.
say a lot. You say so much, and it's like I want
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
answer
So I
so
just
much.
want to wrap it
Sometimes
up to say,
it's
for
like
me to wrap it up is to
yeah,
say that there's so much that you can take either approach, but we need to dig into the scriptures and maybe come up with a consensus.
And you're right. And I listened carefully to how you said you're seeing it, right? Or how others may see it one way, and then some see it from the earthly side, and some will see it from the. So you said your way, and for me, I'm gonna keep it simple. Tyree was actually a person. That's why the city got that name, and it's still there. So it was actually a person who ruled, who did actually go through this. If you go and read up the history of Tyre, some people say Tyree, you can see that a lot of what was written in the scripture is it actually happened to them. You can go on tour and see the things there. Go on Google Map or Google Earth actually, and still see a lot of the remains and the things underwater. Exactly how it's written in the scripture, what was going to happen to it, right? The thing is, when it talks about wings, that's the thing. Wings, we know the priest. It said, the verse 13 said, "Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Elohim," right? So we know wherever Elohim has his name, who has been there, especially if they're under rulership, like when David and Solomon, they were living righteously, and the priest is the only one who wore the ephod. Or at that time before this, they probably were priest and king, because that's what they call in the order of Melchizedek, so to speak. So the order of Melchizedek, basically, you're priest and king. That's what it means, right? So if it says every precious stone was like covering the sardis, the onyx, we know that that's something, that's the ephod, that's something a priest would wear. So if we can agree with that, that this person here is a priest who's wearing this garment. So it okay, if we can agree on that. The workmanship of the tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day thou was created. Now, me, like I said, I try to not go philosophical like the Greeks do. I try to stay grounded. What does it mean? And I go and I studied all the places in where it says tabrets in the scripture in Hebrew. I go and study it up carefully. I go and study up where it says pipes, and I go and see every place it was mentioned and see these things being used with Israel. And when you see this thing here, this guy had the same thing David had. What was David? David had the workmanship of tabrets. He was known for building instruments. He was a composer. He dealt with music. And thy pipes was prepared in thee. Meaning David know how to sing. David can hold it. He was a composer. He was a master composer, making instruments and all that. So it's like with this, that the so the pipes were in that day that thou was created, and created also, which I didn't bring out the other night. Created, the word created, look it up. I think it's 1254. I think the it's Strong's number H 1254. Look it up and you would see. Guess what create the word bara also means? It also means to dispatch. It also means to cut down, which we can go back and read Genesis 1 and say, in the beginning, Yah cut down the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void. So the little things like that is what I'm trying to look for to, hey, how do we go from Yah created, the heavens and the earth? We're thinking perfection because he said everything he created is perfect. But then the second verse, it's like the earth was at form and void. It was like destroyed and void, and waters upon it. Wait a minute. He created Yah created a destruction. So these are the little things. So when I read this, I see a priest who was walking in the Holy Land where Yah name was. He lived there, and then he turned wicked. He could sing, create instruments. He had the same gifts that David had. That's what I get out of verse 13. And he was the anointed cherub that covered, that cover it. When the same word it has for wings is the same word for the priestly hem, the hem of the priest, the kanaf. because the hem of their gown, their priestly gown, it's like a wing when they're walking because they got the bells and everything and it's swaying. So in Hebrew, all the time you read it, even the word skirt, it's the word kanaf is used sometimes because it flares out, and so the priestly robe flares. But this is what I'm saying, they put it as wings, where technically it's the flowing of his priestly gown, and him covering, because he's the high priest, he covered the people. That's your job as high priest. So it's like he had that thing, so it's like a high priest like Eli and other high priests we have mentioned in the scripture that went bad in the Holy Land. So, and I think I'll stop there. But for me, I just wanted to give you a little bit of where I see it, and it just I read it. You had I forgot which book where Yah was talking about Israel when he kicked them out of there, and it says that Israel was kicked out of heaven. No, it said Israel was cast out of heaven unto the children of Israel was cast out of heaven unto the earth. So when I just take all these scriptures like this and I put them, I try my best to keep things as logical and basic as possible. What is it saying? And I try to keep as much anything spiritual and anything above that, any invisible angels and invisible demons and all that. I try not to even think or deal with that. I try to make it make sense, because if it don't make sense to me, I'm not gonna read it anymore. So I just wanted to say that
I
to you to
get it.
show you where I'm coming from my understanding.
Yeah, I get. That's why I
And I
say we
know.
need to have a consensus, a room on it, because there are, again, some who see it that way. Because if you don't see it the other way, then that's the only way you have to see it. The other thing, because there's only two ways. You know what I'm saying? Either you, but those things are not. How can I put it? I know when we had, like, Christianity has done so much to us that we got to shake all up. We're going to shake every remnant, every thing that I ever learned in it. I want it gone. I don't want to carry over no part of Christianity with me whatsoever, none. And the thing about it, because with a lot, like, I observe, I go and I listen to people. I like to hear their side and hear where they come from and how they come to that reasoning. And I ask also, what books do they read? What do they? We have some that only read the Tanakh. That's it. That's all. I don't read any extra books. Only what's canonized in there.
Mhm.
And then you have people that read different versions of it. You have people that go into the Hebrew. You have people that just read it in the plain King James version. And so, depending on where the information is coming from, that's how you gather your thoughts to put them in a place, right? And you can use, like, I'm me. I read everything again. Chew the meat, spit the bones out. I never tell anyone not to read something, because, especially if you're coming from Christianity, you already done read the worst book, which is the New Testament. Then you know that there are other books. There were scrolls that were found with the scrolls, and you understand how they rearrange things and put them out of order, in order, and I mean out of order. So it's so much that they have done, that us trying to unravel thousands of years of deception, it's not easy even to come down, because logic is dependent on the person who's is objective to the person. Like, some people can think that they're we're making decisions based off the information that we have at that moment. And that's for any of us, right? If I make a decision, it's based off what I've studied. Like, okay, if I haven't studied something, like, I don't want no part in it because I don't know much about it. I don't know about it. But if it is something that you have maybe studied about and tried to gather all the information, I need all the information that I can get on this so I can try to make a logical decision based off all the evidence that's put before me. I know for our people, reading is hard. Most people have not read the entire canonized Bible that they have, let alone the extra books, right? But the thing is that if you are someone who loves to read, like me, I want to read everything because us as a people coming from such a lost place where our books been scattered like us, things been taken out, put in, all kind of things that I would not tell anyone or to not read something. Read whatever you get your hands on. Because like I said, the worst book you've already read. If you there are other books that were written in Hebrew that were whatever, then I would read those, chew the meat, spit the bones out. I'm not saying that to believe everything in every book, no, but at least have knowledge of them. When our ancestors, with Solomon, he had knowledge of the things of Egypt. Moses had knowledge of the things of Egypt and knowledge of what the Most High began to teach him concerning us. He didn't know. He knew probably more about Egypt than he knew about the things of us. Why? Because the Most High had to teach them. None of them knew. So when you have information, whether it's whatever information, I think that we should get all the information we can, then make a logical decision based on the information that's there, and I'll do that before, like me, I ain't wrote no book. I ain't wrote no scripture. I ain't wrote nothing. So for me to make this off my own head, using my own mind, and I'm I'm really that good then, obviously. No. I have to go by what was written beforehand and take that and try to make something of that first, and then use my mind to decipher between all of this. And then, therefore, I'm working with all the information available to me, and it'll help me to make a more better decision because I have more information. And in going with that, I'm applying all this information and weeding out what is in the Torah. Oh, it speaks on. Okay, there you go, right there. This matches with that. This okay, it matches with this. So therefore, I'm looking more for matches than me trying to insert what I really believe in it and just saying it does it line up with the foundation, which is the Tanakh, because I ain't write nothing. I'm just putting this stuff together. It's not my thoughts, it's not my whatever. I'm just gonna put together what's written, and that's more simpler, for me than me really going off my own, because he say man's thoughts are feeble. We have unstable minds. Our beliefs change with the wind. Our mind, we go from one thing to another depending on how good it sounds. That's how we do. But if you have a foundation and the scriptures ain't gonna change, and you can go by that, then if I'm just going by the scriptures and I know they not gonna change, then I'm not gonna change.
God, I was gonna say this real quick, Sister Devanya. Like the way you both explained it, um, I don't think neither one of you were like dishonest or deviated from the integrity of the text. I think you both explained it on a higher level that are both valid. Like for example, like um Devanya, like maybe everybody will understand like what I'm trying to say. Like if you go into it, like how Israel in their lower state are described like grass in like the lowest state, and then like uh also in the Tanakh it'll say like when they come to the ways of the Most High, they'll be removed as a plant of uprightness and be put in their place, and then they will be. And when they Psalms 1, when they adhere to the Torah, meditate upon it night and day, they'll be like a tree. And then like to me, like when we talk about like Tyree or like any of the kings that had like high positions above other people on the earth, like we know the Most High put them there, and like they were up higher than us, like especially in captivity, so they seen things in a different way. And when they come down like lower to where we are, or like even like a Malak, like they were. closer to what the Most High wanted us to do or see, and then they tell us like how to get up there, whatnot. Like, and without the Torah, you don't grow straight. And then like you guys mentioned it earlier, how like if a king or somebody sees like a plant like thrown to the ground, like how did it get there, like type thing. Like you know what I'm saying, Sister Divine. If you could explain like the different like ways that it describes us as plants for like our
Yes.
yeah.
Herbs, where trees, where bushes, where we're just bush a hedge would be we're just opposition. We're guarding the palace. You know, like bushes that guard around your property. It's around your property, protecting your property. You're not protecting, but you know, that hedge. That's why it's called a hedge. So we were described as hedge, and the lower we got, the lowest the thing we were formed were the grass, and it says because they walked over us. We walked. They just walked over us like grass. So they mowed us, teared us down, cut it. What do you do with grass when it gets hot? You tear it down. You cut it, right? Cut it down. You shakat it. You get rid of, you know. So the whole similarity again using the tree, and that's why he told Tyrus, he said, "But I shall chop you down to a stump where you shall no longer rise up." And it's the same thing he told Egypt. Who is that? That's Egyptian. He's talking to the, I think Tyree is the DNA of the people who came on the ark, and they continued. Otherwise, how did their lineage continue? How did the lineage continue if it's just Noah and 80 people on the ark? And my thing is, these are the unclean beasts because Yah says, I do not get rid of my creation, I chop them down. And he gave us a perfect example. If you read Ezekiel 28 with the same thing, take Tyrus' name out and put Nebuchadnezzar's name in there when you read it. He did the exact same thing to Nebuchadnezzar. You king, I told you, hey, Nebuchadnezzar started bragging, oh, I'm king, blah, blah, blah. And Yah told him, hey, because Yah was going to him in dreams. Nebuchadnezzar's having dreams from Yah. And Yah told him, hey, I put you in this, I sent you to capture my kids and punish them for 70 years. Don't you start bragging and thinking you did it on your own. And Nebuchadnezzar, he like, okay, tucked his tail in, went about. But then the next thing, he went and built up the statue. You know, he like forgot about the conversation. Yeah, he went and built up that golden statue, the famous statue we all know about. And what happened? That's when Yah went back to him. Ah, okay, tore him down. When Yah put him down, he went from king, ruler of Babylon. He had the longest tenure of any ruler of Babylon, right? Yah tore him down and did what? Not only was he not a king, Yah put him out of his mind. He became like a madman. He went hiding in the wilderness. He was living like a caveman. The scripture says his nails grew as long talons, like nails. He couldn't cut it. They were long like talons. And his hair, and it says even on his body, he became a hairy. And when I read it in Hebrew, the hair itself was, it didn't use the sha'ad. It used the hair of like feathers. It used the word like feathers. So I'm picturing him like with talons, and you know, like his nails like talons of a bird, and like the hair on his thing, probably the way it was falling down wet. It wasn't like just curly and thing, just hair it was like I can picture just falling down wet and just looking like, you know, when a bird gets wet and you can see the hair is just laying down, and his hair and everything, and he just became a hairy beast. And the scripture said he was just eating things in the jungle. He lived by himself and all that because Yah told him 7 years, 7 years since you want to go do this. I told you, don't pick up yourself. I gave you permission to go and punish my children. Don't you big yourself up. So 7 years he was in that jungle, and to the day of 7 years, what did it do? When that 7 years up, the Most High make sure what he did. He sent. some of his soldiers and his servants made sure they found him on that day. Yah brought him back to his senses. When they found him, he was like an intelligent man, just looking like a hairy bird feathers or a hairy man with long ass nails, unkempt long ass hair, looking like a caveman, 3.0, so to speak. And what scripture says to do, they took him back and he gained back his seat. And that's when you read Daniel chapter 4, where Nebuchadnezzar wrote one of the most beautiful letters anybody can read from a king from another nation, and he basically proclaimed Yah's name, and he said, Yah, the Elohim of Israel, is the Elohim. There is no other Elohim greater than him. He can lift you up and he can put you down. Yeah, Daniel chapter 4, that was Nebuchadnezzar. But what did he do after that? He went back. He died. It's just in their spirit. Yeah, would do that, but they would always start putting their names on everything. Instead of putting Yah's name on everything, they put their names on everything. And that's just mad. That's what we do. And we not only do we start bigging ourselves up, but other people who start and getting Google Gaga, oh, I want your autograph. Oh my God. Start fainting. They start bigging you up. And that's why Yah never wanted anybody to make images and put them up. Absalom, Menelik. I don't know. Did you ever check into this? Remember, Absalom, David's son, never had any kids, right?
Come,
He
come.
never had any kids. So what did he do? What did Scripture say he do? When I started, I was like, oh, I came across it by accident. I wasn't even looking for it, but reading it in Hebrew, it's like, oh, because the words are there. So it's the mitzvah, right? So I was actually studying the word for statue, basically, and uh, come to find out, because he never had any kids, and remember, that's how you prolong your seed. He never had any kids. He didn't want to be forgotten. So what he started doing, Absalom, according to scripture that I read in Hebrew, he started making statues of himself and putting them up in different places so he can at least have a remembrance of him because he had no kids. When I read that thing took, I said, wow, I never ever saw that in Hebrew. I mean in English. I never got that in English.
Come.
I
Hey,
don't know
Sister
if you
Devanya,
ever
I have
peeped that.
another one. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's a really good one. I have another one that I think everybody would they would kind of like understand it as well. Genesis 25:27 with Jacob and Esau, where he's like Wayagadallah. Like, actually, let me
Uh-huh.
just read it. Wayagadallah Hana Aram Wehai Esau Aish Yode Ashayid Aishada wa Yakob Aish Tam Yashab Ahalim. So like, and Wayagdallah, like they advanced, the boys they advanced and they
Mm-hmm.
exceeded,
It became
and they were
great.
coming, exactly, yeah, they were coming up, they were increasing.
Mm-hmm.
And Esau was a man of like cunning, a hunter, a man of the field, the Shaddai, or like the flat, like lower things, like a
So
lower
stop there.
type mindset. Yeah.
Stop there, brother. I'm sorry for interrupting you because this is beautiful. Now, you just said two key words. You said Esau was a man of the field and he was cunning. Did not the scripture say in Genesis that the serpent was the most cunning beast of the field? Okay. All right. Keep going.
Yep.
I just wanted to point that
Yeah,
out.
Khan. That's a good one. Yeah. So it says he was a Aish a Shaddai, what,
Mhm.
right? A man of like the flat like land, like the lower things. Like he was used to looking at the lowly things. And it
Oh,
said,
oh,
Way
oh,
Yaakov.
oh, can I
Yeah, go
pause you
into it,
there
go
again?
into it.
I'm sorry. Can I pause you there again? I love talking to you. I mean, um, so when it says that, right, with the Shaddai, remember, Shaddai means feel, but it also means destruction. So this is what I'm saying. We can actually like, hey, listen, it's double